Hi there, welcome along to your Friday night darts night here at the MODUS Super Series. We've had thrills and spills already today with a really gripping, dramatic end to Group C. And tonight, the final three places at tomorrow's finals night will be filled from Group B. Plenty more twists and turns to come. And here is what happened in this group yesterday. Still all to play for our final five fighting for finals night, but Rob Collins will need a much better showing this evening if he is to be in the field. The same goes for the Dutchman Olde Kalter, who won 9 of his first 12 matches this week, but has since lost 7 out of 8. Matt Dennant sits in the middle of the group. Will the scholar be best in class tonight? Dave Prinz delivered some incredible darts, none more so than this one. The Badger seems set for Saturday, sitting on 6 points, tied at the top with Scott Taylor. He was unlucky at times, but is in pole position. Yeah, that's what happened last night in this group, and it's all pretty well poised this evening. Glenn Durrant was here. The two at the top we just saw there, Taylor and Dave Prinz. Look, you thought Taylor might win. Dave Prinz, though, I mean, he could have ended up winning all 4, but rudely beaten in the last one. Yeah,
he was fantastic at the end. Scott Taylor really showed his class, but I thought the night belonged to Dave Prinz in the end, and with the pair of them on 6 points, both will be feeling good tonight.
Yeah, well, let's just get confirmation of that table at the halfway stage. Prinz and Taylor, 2 ADC reps on 6 points. Matt Dennant is between them and the bottom two, Olde Kalter and Rob Collins, who are going to need big nights tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Dennant was very, very inconsistent, but he seems really chipper downstairs. He's in good spirits. It's been a funny old sort of campaign for Olde Kalter, but he has the capabilities of going through the card. Rob Collins, it will be a big ask for him.
Absolutely. We'll focus more on this group in a moment, but this afternoon we saw the end of Group C, and that was really dramatic, wasn't it?
Yeah, just an amazing conclusion, and for the neutral, it was absolutely brilliant to watch, and just a fantastic finale it was.
Yeah, once again we saw Addy and Konterman missing out on leg difference. He finished third in the table, 14 points. But that doesn't tell the whole story, does it, Glenn?
Oh, there was a stage there, the 1, 2, 3, Dom, Taylor, Smith and Konterman, where there was a period in the last half hour of the day where Taylor, Smith and Konterman could have been out. It was an incredible ending, and, you know, the piece de resistance was Justin Smith coming back from a 3-0 deficit to win 4-3. It was fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that was against Charlie Large after Konterman himself had lost 4-3 to Taylor. So it's Taylor and Justin Smith that go through from that group, and they join Daryl Pilgrim in finals night. Look, Smith and Pilgrim have already won here before. That's a very tasty lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's just warmed up very, very nicely. Pilgrim will be sat at home probably thinking, you know, he's been the best player this week, but Dom Taylor's a real class act. Justin Smith promised us he's going to win it, and there's going to be 3 good players coming out of tonight as well. It's going to be a great, great night.
I know you've been tipping Scott Taylor all week. Let's just have a look at the market movers for Group B. And one particular mover is a certain Dave Prinz. He's gone from 11-1 to 10-3 after a brilliant night last night.
Oh, never in doubt. Absolutely never in doubt. But, yeah, that's an incredible stats there. And you can see exactly the difference that it had and the kind of night that Prinzy had.
You weren't saying that last night, were you? In fact, if I recall rightly, I stood here and had a little go at tipping myself. And I'm sure I said Dave Prinz was a bit of value at that 11-1, didn't I?
I'm not so sure you were right now. I was wrong.
Can we actually get that clip? Because I think it's time to just rub Glenn's... We can actually get the clip, so I'm going to show you that now. The one that draws my eye is the 11-1 on Dave Prinz at the bottom.
No, it doesn't for me. Davey's on the back of a break from darts. He is back playing regular again.
Dismissed out of hand by Glenn Durrant. In fact, Glenn, I think what we should probably do is swap places. You can present and I'll be the pundit, because I'm obviously doing a better job than you, right? Let's actually do that. We know this at the Super Series.
That sounds a plan.
Presenter stands there, pundit here. Right, Glenn. Bet builder next. So are you going to ask me about that?
Yeah, the bet builder. Let's have a little look at what the people have been suggesting for tonight. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
Right, well, just like every other pundit that ever comes here to the Super Series, it would just be a total guess. But I'm going to say, look, it's a decent enough bet builder. Over 5.5 legs in Taylor against Prinz in the first match. 2.5 180s more than Collins against Dennant. Yeah, can see that coming in. And the legs handicap Taylor minus 1.5, 6.37 to 1. I think that's a bit of value. But now you've got to do the bit where you say gamble responsibly, be gamble aware, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna bet, remember 18 plus, be gamble aware. .org.
Right.
It's quite hard than it looks, isn't it?
Scott Taylor and Dave Prinz are coming next. So you want to ask me about that one as well?
Dave Prinz and Scott Taylor up next. It was a big win for Scott Taylor yesterday. Do you fancy that again now?
Well, Dave Prinz, obviously, my tip from yesterday. He was such a good performer, really solid, the Badger. Taylor did beat him 4-0, though, yesterday, so I think Prinz will get his revenge in this one.
You're milking this, aren't you? You're really, really enjoying this, aren't you?
I am absolutely milking it. Are you done with your little pundit thing?
I think I'm done now. Can I get on the other side, please?
Right, let's swap back. Get Glenn back in his position. Right, I've said my bit. What about you? Do you think the winner of this one is through, basically?
Yes, and I think both, again, very happy down there. Scott Taylor, I think he not only has eyes on winning the Group E, but actually winning it tomorrow night as well. I think the winner of this one is pretty safely going through, so already from the get-go, it's going to be a really important game.
Right, we might as well get the action underway then. Am I doing this, or are you? I kind of forgot.
No, I'm going to try this.
Go on, here we go.
Let's get down to the serious stuff now. And first time for tonight, let's go down to the comms box to Henry Deacon.
I'll do it next time.
Hello everybody, very good evening and welcome to the MODUS Super Series where the live lounge has descended upon a bit of madness, and tonight we could see a little bit of everything as far as Group B is concerned. Two players at the top on 6 points and they go toe-to-toe in this first game of the evening session. Scott Taylor taking on Dave Prinz. Well, as for the Badger, he had pretty much the picture-perfect night up until he took on Scott in the final game of yesterday's session. Prinz losing 4-0, didn't even get a double in that game. As for Scott Taylor, average of 98.5, 4 out of 10 on the doubles. He was consistent throughout the whole course of the evening. 31 years of age from Bolton, throwing with a 24-gram target dart, former Challenge Tour event winner. Dave Prinz, the 54-year-old from Peterlee, 6-time World Championship appearance holder, nicknamed the Badger, and he'll be hoping
first leg,
to make his way through to the final tomorrow.
Game on.
We've also had a change of referee. Charlie Courtefine taking charge of the action, but he is in his rightful place. So Scott Taylor throwing the first darts of tonight's session, and I'll be honest, I thought I was going to be joined by Chris Murphy for a second.
I tell you what, I've actually put the cold air on there because that's hard work being a presenter, isn't it? Tongue-tied and all over the place. So fair play to you, Henry.
You know what it's like now.
Never again. I wasn't that nervous when I won the Premier League. I'd never mention the Premier League.
125.
Right, we'll put you back in your safe zone. What do you think about this one?
Well, like I said, I've wrote off Davy Prinz just a little bit too much of my liking. It was hilarious to see his son Nathan even sending me a message. So I told Prinz he had to go for a 6-hour drive today.
96.
But what I would say, Davy seemed really, really happy in the players' area. He just has bonded with everyone there. There's always a good feel factor. And I think when Prinz is happy on the hockey as well, he's a very, very dangerous player. But for me, don't forget he's playing somebody in Scott Taylor who I felt on Monday morning not only would win this group, but would win the week overall. So it'll be difficult. But I will add, I'm absolutely delighted to say I was wrong yesterday and that Prinzy is playing fantastic darts. But he backed me up, actually. He did say, to be fair, Glenn, I have been inactive for about 3 or 4 months, so I can understand why you said it.
Nothing like vindication for what you've said. Well, it's Taylor first to finish here. Now, remember, Prinz hasn't had a double this week yet against Scott. And that trend looks set to continue.
7. Scott, you require 114.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they'll be searching for 10 points. I do feel the winner of this match will
94
pretty much be dipping their toes of qualification.
$81. Scott, you require 20.
Double 10 for Taylor for the opening leg. Now up for 5s. Going to dip it just a bit below.
15.
Too far below, but he has got the luxury of time.
Yeah, Prinzy's left a bogey with that score of 15. But he will be putting pressure now because 5 is a horrible finish. Prinzy should go downstairs, take the 9 off, I would think.
119.
That is a very aggressive
Scott,
way because
you
if he'd only hit
require
the
5.
13, it would have left a more difficult 3-dart finish. Double 2 for Taylor. In a leg, he's been in total control.
Game shot on the first leg.
It's there in
Scott
the end.
Taylor.
Doesn't matter how you get to the end destination as long as you find it. And Taylor leads Prince
Second leg, it's
by
Dave to throw
a leg
first.
to nil.
Game
Prince, who could have had the ultimate smash and grab job in that opening leg if he could have found a way to tops if he came back.
140.
Yeah, he's got a busy day tomorrow, Dave Prince, if he does get qualification tonight. He's got his Northeast title match against Tony Wood.
140.
5 o'clock kickoff time for that one here at the Live Lounge. As Prince looks to kick off the maximum count for the
180.
evening.
Yeah, 140, 180 from
60.
Prinzy with also that 119 set up in the last leg. He's just beginning to find his range now. It was a surprising slow start. I like the bull here, but Davey is very, very... that was in the
80.
treble. No reaction, though.
Well, you can see the puncture wound in the board, can't you? That's the bottom of that treble bed.
121. Davey
So
required
Prince
101.
leaving himself 101 after 9 to level proceedings up at 1 apiece. Single 1 or single 9? Single 1 for tops.
Game
Tops
shot on
is
the
found.
second leg.
Route 101
Dave
for Dave Prince to level up at 1-1.
Yeah, very, very slow start, wasn't it? And a fantastic finish there.
Third
Prinzy
leg, it's
averaging
Scott to throw
96.
first. Game on. $140.
You just feel like Scott Taylor's got more gears, don't you? He will be very, very dangerous tomorrow if he does qualify. In deep, deep thought there, and that's a
70.
Well, Scott Taylor's best game in Super Series history
58.
was that game against Andy Bolton when he qualified through to Champions Week in Series 3. That was when he was, as I put it, going through the parabolica and running his way towards the finishing line.
and it's a nice feeling to have to know that you've got that game as well.
100.
But like I said, I've seen enough, not necessarily the dart, but him himself, his motivation, his desire, his just the way he's reacting to games as well.
42.
I think he's got an awful lot of talent. He knows that. I just think he's trying to add them extra percentages and obviously wants to get back on the Pro Tour.
$58.
He is stereotypical
121.
FDM, isn't he, Scott Taylor? When the first dart finds the treble with a plum, then usually has bedfellows alongside him.
I also think he'd be highly motivated tomorrow night as well. I think I was hearing him saying it's been a long week with Challenge Tour and being
53.
here as well.
Scott, you require 140.
Many dart players miss home like many people would do, but they're here to do a job. There's more on a bus, so his eyes will be on tops here. I've even seen players be that safe. They go out the board.
100.
That's a perfect dart.
$81.
So
Scott, you
for a
require
2-1 lead.
40.
Taylor wants tops. Now down for double 10. This has been the one blot for him in this game so far. He's now 1 from 7 when it comes to the outer ring.
30.
And you can now make that 1
Dave
from 8.
required
Didn't want to go for
139.
that double 5 there. He had a little look over to Prinsey. Prinsey's score 139 is certainly a tough finish. Now he's already at treble 13 already. Normally when you're looking to set up, you've got the treble 19 option, but he likes that area of the board there. And that'll frustrate him.
103.
And Scott Taylor
Scott,
for
you
double
required
5.
10.
His first dart, you've got to be a little aggressive, but you really want that marker as well, and just watch the way it dips in.
Chasing double 2, and that just about went into the
Getting
single
shot
1, but the
third,
final
though.
dart
Scott Taylor.
with such conviction, but the out puff of the cheeks from Scott Taylor, he knows that he's 2-1 up, but he also knows
it's
that
Dave
he's
to throw
kind of
first.
riding his
Game
luck a
on.
little bit here.
Yeah, you'd say Prinsey's been the better player. Well, you say that, but Scott Taylor's had 10 darts at a double and Prinsey just 1, so maybe that's an unfair statement. But Prinsey's definitely in this game.
100.
Definitely finding his range now.
It feels like the 10-point dip in average is indicative of the fact that Scott's missed 8 darts at double. Dave has only had a dart at double, and he took that on the back of the 101 combo.
140.
That's his 4th 140 of the game, Scott Taylor.
$100.
I'm just sort of analysing Scott Taylor there. It's a different version of what I've seen him before. Definitely brought in a little bit of composure, a lot more focus.
140.
And I think that's why he's getting the desired outcomes. I think he's the class act now of this group. And I feel if he can just get by Prinsey here, then his next game against Olde Kalter will be for qualification.
43.
Where do you think Scott Taylor's career is at the minute? Because we've seen what he's done here at the Super Series. We've seen him make a final on the Pro Tour before. Where does he feel like his career is at this stage, and where does he feel he should be?
I mean, he's shown me enough to say he should be a professional, but he's got an awful lot of talent. I just don't know enough about him, about how he's applying himself. Is he practicing religiously? Is he getting out there and getting match practice? You know, that would be something that we can only get from him from an interview.
115. Scott, you require 81.
Talent-wise, he's up there. And I've played him on a Pro Tour.
Do I ask the result? Double 13 for Taylor. For the break
Game
of throw
shot
and a
on the
3-1
foreplay.
lead.
Scott Taylor.
He's eking closer to 8 points.
Yes, we've seen 2 9-darters on that stage this week, haven't we, Henry?
Fifth leg, it's Scott to throw first.
Yes, now,
Game on.
I had a bit of a pleasure earlier on this evening. Up on the stage, I saw a certain Mr. Glenn Dennant have a bit of a throw in the practice board in the arena here at the Live
81.
Lounge. And nice to see up close and personal Glenn back on the road. And there may have been a little 9-darter from Duzza tonight. Congratulations, my
58.
friend.
If you've got it, you've got it. Flaunt it.
I won't then mention these scores of 17 and 28.
57.
Jim McEwen might be listening.
But I can also tell you, he then, in another batch of visits, then went back to back. Looking good, Mr. Dennant. Looking very good.
Getting some of the
100.
elements sorted out. You could see exactly what my problem still is, but I'm working on it. Feels better. I'm enjoying it.
Where do I send the coaching session invoice to?
140.
The VAT man.
Dated 30th of February.
Yeah, they're going some angles, don't the Prinsey's darts. But That's exactly how
99.
he's always thrown. My mind is actually going back to the Little Ormsby Institute Club playing Prinzy. We had some fantastic games, but speaking about a 9, I remember getting a 9 against him in there. And he was just... We had so many battles.
140.
So many. I bet we were 50-50. I think we won about 30 games each between us.
Talking about battles, this battle looks set for its culmination. Scott Taylor has completely dominated Dave Prince over the course of 2 matches. Looks like it's going to be an 8-1 head-to-head
60.
record.
Scott, you require
As
83.
Prince leaves himself on a non-out, and so Taylor to complete the job. 83 is what he wants now, 73, and now double 14. He loves this side of the board, does Scott Taylor.
55.
Nothing the whole Prinzy can do. Maybe his mind is already on the next game there, but Scott does like to leave that double 14, so you have to feel these are the last 3 darts from Davy Prince.
94. Scott, you
And Scott
require
Taylor,
28.
First player to move to 8 points. 3 darts in his hand. There's the snarl.
No
But
score.
not to be.
Dave, you
And
require
so
90.
Prince is reprieved. Tinkle leaves the ball. The treble leaves double 5.
85.
Again, just dipped low.
Scott, you require
No more
28.
chances. Scott Taylor will feel. He's been the better player in this game. Missed darts at a double being the big problem.
14.
He's making hard work of this.
Dave, you require 5.
15 missed darts at double in this game from Scott Taylor. And it gives Prince another poke. Double 2. Can the Badger sniff out a break?
That's tough from there. You look at the size of that barrel, but
Game shot on the 5th.
he crunches it in. That
Dave
takes me back to that
Prince.
double 6 that he hit yesterday. Just caressed that second dart and found its way in the bottom.
6th
echelon
leg
of
is
that
Dave
double
to throw
too.
first. Game on.
Well, the Badger digs himself out of a hole. Back to 3-2, and Prince has the dart to send us all the way. And Scott Taylor has had opportunities now to complete the job. He has had 7
95.
darts at a double to win this match.
Yes, the Nocturnal Badger will be hoping he has a success from last night. Scott Taylor will be frustrated with them missed darts at a double.
137.
3 from 18 is not acceptable from a man of his talent and really should be off this stage and out right now. Prince won't be rushed for anything or anyone. He's a tough nut to crack, so when you get them opportunities, you have to take them against Prinzy because he'll keep coming back.
83.
One could argue that
100.
possibly going against his own grain and going for the double 16 would be the better play for him, but stuck with what he knows is faithful in double 14, and that was the breakdown that ultimately cost him in the end. Sometimes it's your friends that let you down more than
60.
your foes. And that first dart is so succulent for Scott.
180.
Yeah, I think we both nodded our head with appreciation of the first dart. Henry called him an FDM earlier, first dart merchant. Once again, deep in concentration. He won't want to let this one go.
77.
And he's got at
Scott, you
least
require
6 darts
84.
at 84. Double 12. The snarl is back. And in the end, it was a
Game,
comfortable win
shots,
for Scott
and the
Taylor.
match.
There was
Scott
missed
Taylor.
opportunities along the way, but he's all about the 2 points, and he's the first player now to reach that 8 mark. For Dave Prince, still plenty to work on. He's right in the mix. He won't get his head down too far, but Scott Taylor, you feel, is on the march and is dipping his toe qualification as the second game is up next. It's Matty Dennant against Denny, Olde, Kalter.
Game 2 then, and this could be the match where things really start to move in this group. Matt Dennant looking to put 4 points between himself and the Dutchman Denny Olde Kalter if he can win just as he did last night. So prepare for tungsten to be tossed and tongues to be twisted for this Denny Dennant darting duel described by Durrant and Deacon.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, Chris. After my experience up there, never again. Got all my 4Ds in there, that's for sure. But what a nice start for Scott Taylor. I think for him, it's just about qualification. But an incredible stat, Henry, about Denny Olde Kalter. He's stood behind Matthew Dennant there. 9 out of 12 he won of his first games and lost 7 of his last 8. Surely it's going to be a fresh start tonight against Matt Dennant. And which Matt Dennant are we going to get? Because I knew he was unpredictable
it's Matt
before
to throw
yesterday.
first. Game on.
And that's like, that was maximised to the max.
It most certainly was. And when you look at Denny Olde Kalter, there's actually no rhyme or reason as to why there was an incline or decline from one way or another, because his daily average on Wednesday was 85.03. And actually, he put 2 and a bit points on his average from his 3rd day to his 4th day, but it just didn't hold the results that
140.
perhaps it deserved.
Yeah, I think this is a massive battle for 2nd and 3rd place. This I really do. I mean, Prinzy's got a big, big game next day. Prinz against Rob Collins, who will be
84.
seeing for the first time tonight. I'd have concerns all of a sudden again for Prinz if he was to lose that game. So still plenty to play for in this very exciting Group B.
60.
Anyway, back to the presenting. You're going to cover for me next week, aren't you?
Honestly, I have more admiration about for you today than, you know, that transition from commentary to presenting. I thought,
59.
yes, piece of cake. Yes, it was I had a mouthful of words, but they just wouldn't come out. But he did milk it though, Murph, didn't he?
60.
Oh, I'll tell you now, he was having the time of his life watching you suffer.
You seem to enjoy that too much, saying that too.
59.
Oh, yeah. I just knew my job was safe.
134.
Good darts there from Denny Olde Kalter, who I was very, very impressed with in his Group A campaign. Again, the unpredictable.
133. Denny required
59, but
107.
finds a couple of trebles there. I was looking forward to this game tonight. Is it treble 16 or treble 20 for double 14 again?
93.
Seeing that an awful lot tonight.
requires 66.
But these are the types of finishes. Many dart players practice this type of finish. Because it's that
26.
word, one dart at
Denny
top's not to
required
be for
14.
Dennant. Denny Olde Kalter needs something really to change this ratio of
Aim on the
losing
first
games, and there's no
lane.
better
Denny
feeling than
Olde
leading
Kalter.
1-0.
And that's exactly what he does. Denny Olde Kalter on the board against Matt Dennant. But going back to Matt, it was a
Second leg,
strange
it's
sort of
Denny to
night for
throw
him yesterday
first.
because
Game
he
on.
beat Scott Taylor. He only played to beat Scott Taylor so far in this group, by the way. In the opening game, 92 average, 4 from 16. Thought, yeah, maybe it's something he can improve upon. But we thought,
140.
as far as the start was concerned, there was a solid base to grow. We kind of expect Matt to be around a 90, 91 average maybe over the course of a night. Turned out to be an
100.
87-47, 14 out of 48 on the doubles. In fact, in his first 2 games of the evening session,
60.
he had 22 misses at the outer ring. And that's just not what we kind of expect from Matt Dennant. I mean, he's usually one of the players that we can trust to
100.
know what sort of level he'll play. He'll play at that 90-91 average. He'll be consistent enough to get through to a Saturday.
Interesting enough going into tonight, despite the fact that Prinz and
100.
Scott Taylor were in 1st and 2nd place, Matt Dennant still joint favourite to top the group tonight.
And that's because
97.
we have a lot of layers of research on Matt over a lot of Group B campaigns involving the Scholar. And we know what he can do. We know what he does more often than not.
100.
And that's why there is a lot of trust. And the odds compilers on him. Remember, he started the night on 4 points.
$58. Denny required 101.
Denny threatening to go 2-0 up here. 82, treble 14 or bull. And big fat 17.
61.
Something
Match
special.
reply 146.
To get to 1-1. Well, that's a good start.
94. Denny
So
required
tops
40.
for 2-0 for the Dutchman. Looking for better fortunes today than his compatriot Ariane Konterman.
30.
So that's 3 darts have come
Match
and gone.
required 52.
Yeah, and the difference between 2-0 and 1-1 in a best of 7. That's an important miss.
Game shot on the second leg.
Matty
Matt
Dennant is not
Dennant.
messing about too much tonight. The way you find out a little bit more about Denny.
Third leg, it's Matt
Surprising
to throw
that
first.
statistic
Game
there.
on.
Lost 7 from 8. Dennant finding his range.
140. $60.
Dennant.
And all of a sudden that missed dart at tops and 10s. It could have been 2-0 and all of a sudden Matt Dennant is
59.
threatening. 140 points ahead already in this leg 3.
Matt Dennant's only failed to make finals night once in 5 previous appearances here at the
140.
Super Series. He's 4 out of 5 in terms of qualification. And in fact, of the players who have had previously perfect records in terms of qualification,
66.
well, Daryl Pilgrim's kept his up, Justin Smith's kept his up, Dom Taylor's kept his up, and Scott Taylor looks on the cusp of keeping his up.
140.
With Matt Clark winning again last week, it's a real important factor now. People who know how to qualify and know how to win on Saturday night.
100. Denny required
Demonstrating
161.
once again that they're doing it. It's replicating what they've done before.
We're establishing who the key names are, who the key performers are in this competition.
95.
Now we've had
Matt, you
5
require
cycles, we know exactly
136.
who we can trust to do well. Can we trust Den another 136? Not on this occasion.
40. Denny requires 66.
It's not as if you can sense the tension between these two. They both look pretty free-flowing. Double 18 for a 2-1 lead.
48.
That's a long, long way.
Matt, you
Matty
require
Dennant stole the
96.
last leg. Will he do the same?
Double 18 tops, or he decided to go the treble for double 8. He
56.
does like to go the more
Denny require 80.
traditional routes, does Dennant, as Kalter comes back for double 9.
He had options to split.
Game shot on the third leg.
It's the right
Denny
decision in the
Olde.
end. That's a very cool, calm and collected double 9. Especially with that last dart as well.
Fourth
Mops
leg,
his
it's Denny
brow.
to throw first. Game on.
It's quite warm in the venue tonight, which is conducive to great darts. It's when a venue's really cold that you'll see some dart players suffering.
81.
And because obviously they're playing in a arena which is empty during the week, it means that they will feel the extremes of the temperatures perhaps
99.
a little bit more. We saw in the winter some players using undergarments to play in, and again in the summer they'll feel the heat just that little bit more. It'll be even hotter in here tomorrow night.
43.
Not just will the temperature go up in terms of what we're going to see on the thermometer outside, but the tension's going to go up with the crowd in tomorrow evening, and you can be a part of the action as well.
45.
Scan that QR code, sends you over to a website called dartshot.tv, and you can attend any Saturday night you would so like here at the MODUS Super Series. So if you fancy a night of tungsten tension
100.
down on the South Coast, then why don't you join us? £2 booking fee, free drinks for a tenner. You wouldn't even get that up in Borough these days, would you, Glenn?
£1 10 a pint in Middlesbrough.
100.
When am I heading up to your gaff?
You can't drink. Fruit cider doesn't count.
41.
A little chance, a real glimmer there for Denny Olde Kalter, but Not to be.
60.
Not punish from Dennant. Expected better quality here.
For those watching in the King's Head pub will be watching quite nervously right now.
134. 100. Denny
Tom
requires
puts him down
102.
to a 2 data, but what can Olde Kalter do with the 102? Treble 14 or bull, he's got options. Decided to stay there on the treble 20 bed. And so that means now it's going to be a data double 11 for a 3-1 lead.
Game
And a 3-1 it is of a ton topper for Olde Kalter to put himself on the cusp.
Yeah, I was questioning his motivation. He's seen his compatriot
Fifth leg,
not
it's Matt to throw
qualify.
first. Game
That
on.
fist pump at the end tells me there's enough desire and determination there. Like I said, he's had a topsy-turvy, a wonderful start his first 12 games.
96.
It hasn't gone well. He's probably forgotten that winning feeling on that stage, but he's put in a decent performance. He hasn't been spectacular, but he's 3-1 up, and that's all that
59.
counts.
And what he's doing at the minute is arresting the slide in the legs difference, because as things stand, he'll be level on points of Matt
96.
Dennant. However, the legs difference will begin to draw in the bigger the size of victory. So with a 2-leg buffer as it is now, both would be tied on -1, but Dennant would be
45.
in front in terms of legs 1. However, if Olde Kalter can get the job done in this leg, then there will be a shift of ascendancy when it comes to the legs difference.
99.
And so Olde Kalter would temporarily put himself up into 3rd place.
140.
Be interesting what Rob Collins does against Dave Prince as well, because it's really bunching up there. I think
60.
Prince identified that as a game as a real must-win if he'd lost his opener against Scott Taylor. He doesn't want to go and lose his last 3 games.
Because then he can very suddenly find himself in boil, because you then
Matt
have
require
Prince on 6,
150.
3 players on 4. Assuming that Olde Kalter wins this game, and he's got a chance on 117
83.
to
Denny
do
require
exactly that.
117.
Just a brilliant last dart at treble 19 there for Dennant. Treble 19.
57. Matt, you require 67.
Might need the bullseye. Doesn't often show much emotion, does he? To see him walk around like, but he needs this bull.
42.
Just hits the wire.
Denny requires
And
60.
this is for the match. He needed something, Denny. He's got 2 darts at tops. He likes double 10.
50. Matt,
Not
you
to be
require
this time.
25.
And so Dennant is back for 25 to pull it back to 3-2. And it's going to be 2, a double 8.
Game
Only
shot on the fifth
needs the
leg.
1.
Matt Dennant.
Back to 3-2 we go. But Denny has the darts in leg 6 to get over the
Sixth
line.
leg, it's Denny to throw first. Game on.
And kicks off Max, because the question you can ask in this scenario is, Denny, having been on a bit of a losing streak in previous times, is if the finishing line gets in front of him, but someone then begins
43.
to claw back, what is the response going to be? Well, that first visit of this 6th leg, a big indicator that he's not going to be flustered by that whatsoever.
100.
Max, followed by a ton, has put him in cruise control of this leg on throw.
$60.
Surely this is the position now for Denny to see out this game. They're well thrown darts.
60.
Shouldn't be too disappointed with them. Just has a little look over And even a maximum here from Dennant won't be enough, you feel.
100. Denny requires
So
161.
at least 6 darts from 161 for Denny Olde Kalter to get over the line. Assesses his options. 84 remaining for Olde Kalter.
$102.
And I really like that last dart. To leave a 2-darter. I don't think it's used enough in darts. No doubt players are looking at treble 20.
66.
Has it
Denny
worked?
requires 59.
6 darts at 59.
It's 2 at tops.
19.
But the chances have come and they have gone. And Olde Kalter has missed 11 darts at the outer ring in this match, but Matt Dennant is nowhere to be seen in this leg, and so he's been presented with time.
96. Denny requires 40.
No more messing about, Denny. And the
Game,
losing streak
shots,
is over, and
and
he
the
puts
match.
himself in
Denny
a
Olde
fantastic
Kalter.
position. He's right in the mix for qualification from this very tough and very tight Group B. For Matty Dennant, that was the kind of game that would disappoint him. He's got such a high ceiling, and to see him average 78.44 will disappoint. But Denny Olde Kalter, solid throughout, 102 checkout being the big highlight, but the 2 points for the Dutchman. And next up, it's the return of Dave Prinz against Rob Collins.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code.
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
And I've got a little bit more ticketing news for you. If you do come tomorrow, you'll see that man, the Badger. He's the one with the big badger on the back of his shirt. Dave Prinz in action in an ADC belt match, a North East title, where he'll play against Tony Wood, who you may have seen in action this afternoon here at the Super Series. That will precede the Super Series final, so you can come along a little earlier, can come in from around 4:30 and get a double dose of darts on Saturday night. But Prince has business to attend to here. He takes on Rob Collins, who could tighten up this group an awful lot with a victory here. It was looking like it would be a couple of players racing away, but Collins could close things up if he can get the better of the Badger.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. And I will be there watching that Northeast battle. And at the end, I'm going to climb in the ring and say I am taking on the winner. If you smell what the
First
dozer
leg, it's
is
safe
cooking.
to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, I can smell Duzzer, and it's not very pleasant at the minute, it has to be said.
Lobster. Big
Right.
game for Prince.
Yeah, huge game for Dave. Victory here puts him on 8 points and would possibly put him there. Look, not mathematically assured, but would put himself in a real good position.
45.
Victory for Collins, and then he's played half of his allotted matches for the evening, and then he's precariously looking over his shoulder on 6 points with both Dennant and Olde Kalter on 4, and Olde Kalter takes on Taylor next. Collins takes
28.
on Dennant next, and so Collins won this one. There's a guarantee he'll have someone with him on 6 points at least.
Yes, I do like people contacting us at MODUS Super Series, but I think I've had my favourite one of all time. Stop
58.
using the name Prinsey. It's cringy. Well, if I said Dave, it just wouldn't sound right, because I've never called him that. If I called him Prinz, it wouldn't feel I've never called him that. We go back a long way. I don't think I've ever called him
48.
Badger. He's just simply known as Prinsey.
If you're going to go along the lines of using nicknames in the commentary box, please don't use mine.
140.
It's been a good start for Dave Prinz in this one. 140 there. As the odds compilers are
60.
concerned, well, they still had Rob Collins as a favourite at 4-6 to win this game.
Yeah,
And Dave Prinz 11-10.
I found it tough to see which one would be first, especially after Prinsey lost that opening game to Scots. The first game of the night for Rob Collins. So,
30.
yeah, but I just think it's a bigger game for Prince. I think he just needs to really knuckle down and realise a win here puts him in a really good position with 2 games to go.
140.
Rob being one of those players on the way back to Southampton.
Yep, he was Mr. Group B. Rob Collins back in the halcyon days of the Live League.
85.
You never stepped foot in the old venue, did you, Glenn?
No. I think I got involved quite early on here at this fantastic venue in Portsmouth.
45. Dave, you require 143.
Well, 143 for Prince, and he's got 6 starts on this point to take the opening leg.
Yeah, he's shaking his head because not only is it's the angle of the way these darts are going in right now. It's just getting that
75.
feel of the dart. Sometimes if you're gripping it too much, if you're just releasing it, it's coming on an angle that he's not very happy with at the moment. But Rob just has not started yet in this match.
140.
Till now.
Davey requires 68.
Piling the pressure upon Prinz to take out the 68 for a 1-0 lead. 16's corridor. The double
36.
would have been for 1-0,
Robbie
but Rob
required
Collins comes
40.
back wanting tops to break.
Yeah, that was a nervous look over there from Dave.
Game shot on the first leg. Rob Collins.
Not the best of first legs, but enough for Collins to take it. And a break of throw.
Second leg, it's Rob to throw first. Game on.
It will be interesting if Dave Prinz does go through tonight. Obviously, this is only the second week
140.
we've had the belt matches precede the tournament finals. And last week, none of the competitors qualified for finals night from the belt game. It was the Welsh class, Chris Hurd beating
85.
David Davis in that final. Be interested to see how the preparations would differ, knowing that they're going to have to play in a best of 17 game first and then come into this in the evening.
140.
Yeah, what I liked about that game last week is that David Davies stayed for the night, and
95.
that was good to see. But I will be making an appearance with it being the North East title. Two good guys. And we've seen Tony Wood, who I was chatting with. He had some frustrations as he left today.
57.
So elements of his game he wasn't very happy at. And Dave will want to keep hold of the belt.
$96.
Feels quite
Robbie
a
required
cautious start to the night for
164.
Dave, doesn't it? I'm upset that I can't say Prinsey. Another one of them. 88 left.
96.
I mean, we haven't got a
looking
given
good.
wall. We haven't got a given wall on that, Glenn. You can call him whatever you want.
I don't want to be cringy.
Just as a glance over at the scoreboard.
100.
Tom
Robbie requires
leads him on
68.
something of interest if this 68 doesn't go for Collins. It's going to be two in hand, a double four for a 2-0 lead. Now down for twos.
64. Davey required 125.
Would be typical of the Badger to really put a big finish out. Centre of the board at least to start. Can't be done now. As he mumbles to himself. And Rob Collins just getting himself psyched up. One of those players who really needs that adrenaline pumping through his body to be at his best.
73.
You
Robbie
feel
required
he's not
4.
enjoying the pace of the game. But he has a chance to go 2-0 up.
No
But
score.
opportunity not taken. And so Dave Prinz is back for 52
Davey required
to
52.
level up at one apiece. It's two in hand at tops.
That's a long, long away.
32.
He will not be happy with them darts, that's for
Robbie
sure.
required
I
4.
don't think he expected a chance to go 1-1. What a difference
Game
24
shot
hour
on the
makes for
second
Dave
leg.
Prinz at the
Rob
moment.
Collins.
Rob Collins can get himself in that mix.
Third leg, it's Dave
So
to throw
2-0
first.
Collins
Game
leads.
on.
It would mean that the table would be separated as follows. Scott Taylor 8, Dave Prinz 6, Dennant, Olde, Kalter and Collins all on 4. Now, one thing we know for certain is if Scott Taylor wins his next game against Denny Olde, Kalter,
140.
he is in to tomorrow night's final. But it looks as if the other couple of qualifying spots pick two out of a tombola wheel.
57.
Absolutely spot on, Henry. I think Scott Taylor is the class act. Like I said, even prior to the group, I think
100.
not only does he want to win Group B, but I think he has his eyes on the prize tomorrow night. I think it's time for him to step up, get back to Champions Week. That's where he wants to be.
100.
The best top amateurs in the world want to be right now. These have got the opportunities, and I just think Prince needs to let the shackles off. Really grit his teeth and dig in right now, because he's put himself in a
91.
fantastic position overnight. But this is not how he wanted to start. He knew he had 2 matches in the first 3 games. If he was to lose both, that would be a big, big concern.
60. Dave, you require
However, nothing
170.
could light up the blue touch paper for a game or a night than a big fish. He had 6. He's going to need the lot.
98.
And so Collins can only set up. And Prinz will return to bring the game back to
83. Dave, you require
2 legs
72.
to 1. Only for a hold.
Much better from Prinz. His last start at tops was
Game
wild.
shot on the third leg.
This one
Dave
is plumb
Prince.
in the middle. Now, when I say plumb in the middle, because the way he throws that dart, when he
Fourth
goes
leg,
in
it's
top, it's
Rob to
always on
throw
that right
first.
side of
Game
a double
on.
top when he just gets everything right about his throw. He's back in this match.
$100.
Look at a kick off of a max. Could be a game-changing max, because now the Collins
180.
throw is put under all sorts of pressure.
Sometimes it takes one player to get going to get the other one going.
140.
Scores of ton 40 for Rob Collins and a 180 star for Prinz. Is this match beginning to motor?
$42.
Well, it was interesting that we were
49.
saying yesterday about Rob Collins, and I know he only picked up a couple of points yesterday, but one thing we always felt he had in every single leg was a big visit in him at any particular moment. But you just get the sense so far in this game that doesn't seem as likely this evening.
59.
I can see the tension in Davy Prinz, and Rob should be all over this. My favourite term, isn't it? It's feast or famine right now. His last 12 darts, 100, 140, 49 and 180. Rob Collins is finding his mark, and he's a dart away from a 3-1 lead. Real disaster this for Dave Prinz.
100.
Just
Robbie
keeps
required
him
32.
interested.
Keeps him an interested party.
Game
But
shot
for no
on the fourth
longer,
leg.
Collins is a
Rob
leg away.
Collins.
And the first real exude of emotion from Rob Collins. The first real relief
Fifth
of
leg,
the
it's Dave to
pent-up
throw
emotions
first. Game on.
for the man of steel.
Yeah, we talk about the next game being a big game for Scott Taylor for qualification, but I'm also looking at the person who's playing, and Olde. Everything's going perfectly well tonight. If it is 2 defeats for Dave Prinz,
26.
he's the player who will benefit after his victory over Matt Dennant. Just a quick word to his compatriot
85.
Arian Konterman as well. Not qualifying from Group A to Group B where he wanted to be on legs difference, and not qualifying today on legs difference. That's a tough one to take, Henry.
Well, especially in the circumstances, because Charlie Large was
140.
3-0 to the good, and to all intents and purposes, it looked like he was going to get over the line. And then Justin Smith brings it back to 3 apiece. And then in situ, did we have a leg riddled with high drama
134.
as Justin Smith takes out the 110 to, well, shake the foundations of the live lounge and to, well, I thought the foundations in this commentary box was going to break down at the same time as well, but
85.
That was just your voice. But it was an exceptional moment. It was... We've had some real highs this week, haven't we?
it's been a little bit fun, hasn't it, Dazza?
45.
Oh, Dazza.
$60.
Chance for Collins. 40 behind, so he's looking at least the treble. Can he get the bonus of a second? Because that would leave a two-darter. He can.
140.
All of a sudden, Rob Collins is looking at the final 100 metres. He's 2 darts away to get himself to 4 points.
Well, this Rob is looking to spark himself into light and maybe find a little bit of a voltage spark in terms of his Group B campaign. And Dave Prince would be a bit cross if he loses this game, because it would be 2 defeats on 2 to begin his evening. And so 97 for Rob Collins.
I nearly got you on it there, didn't I?
$89.
Fabulous
Dave,
last start from Rob Collins.
130.
And this has to go for Dave Prince. Just the one treble 20 needed to give himself a shot at the bull, or another one of them. It is the bullseye.
105.
Just not to be.
Robbie require 8.
And Rob Collins might not be Rob Cross, but this would be for an electric start. And it's job done for Collins. It's a really disappointing start to Dave Prince tonight. He's played 2 and lost 2, and he's got some thinking to do, and he really needs to get his game up and going. He won't be on for a while now, so he's got time to prepare, but Rob Collins just moves into that little bit of a groove and gives himself an opportunity. And next up, it's a very big game for Scott Taylor, because if he wins the next one, he has qualified, and he is up against Denny, Olde, Kalter.
Here we go then. Game 4 of tonight's 10 features a Dutchman in Dennant, Kalter, who's looking to force his way through to finals night, and Scott Taylor, who's looking to confirm his place. He is top of the table on 8 points, as you can see, and 10 is the magic number in this group. So a win here for Taylor, and he'll make it 2 Taylors in the Saturday session after Dom Taylor qualified from Group C this afternoon. Olde Kalter with victory can move into the provisional qualifying spots.
Is it just me, or is there just a lot of Taylors around here at the Super Series this week? Scott is looking to join Dom in the Saturday night affair if he can pick up victory here against Denny Olde Kalter, for whom, well, qualification looks like he's in a very good position as far as he's concerned.
Game on.
Pretty much anybody will feel that they can get themselves through now. And because Dave Prince has played that extra match more and has lost his first 2 games, everybody's going to feel as if they can work their way into the mix or work their way into a qualification position.
140.
Potentially, Prince could be the one in peril by the end of this round of fixtures, because we know that Dennant's playing Collins
100.
after this. The victor's going to move on to 6. If Olde Kalter can win this one, because of legs difference, Prince is out the top 3.
60.
Yeah, this is the 5th time they've played each other this week. And
70.
It's 2 each in the head-to-head so far. Tight game last night as well. It's not all about Scott Taylor this game.
60.
You just sense he wants to get the job done. Get to that magic 10 points.
83.
Would you like to know how the odds compilers place this?
Absolutely.
Well, Denny Olde Kalter is
100.
laid at even money. And Scott Taylor 8-11 on to pick up the points in this one.
So I think that's reflected in the head-to-head as well. Like I said,
141.
the fact that they've played each other 4 times, they've got a good guide. Will not be happy with that. He was
Scott,
in a
you
good
require
position in this leg.
108.
Oh, Scott Taylor 108 options here. That leaves 99, however.
88.
Fantastic last start
Denny
to leave double
require
10.
110.
110 for the Dutchman. He's going downstairs, so he'll go for treble 17. For double top.
70.
Again, the width of
Scott,
the
you
wire
require
being
20.
the difference.
Well, Scott Taylor in that game against Dave Prince had to bide some opportunities. Missed 15 darts at double in that particular clash. He's had to rely on misses.
15.
He's had to rely on opportunities, and he's going to have to do so again.
Yeah, and they were really poor darts. And I'm also thinking for tomorrow night
Denny
as well,
required
if and
40.
when he qualifies. But you don't want to be going into such a high-pressured evening, knowing your doubles are beginning to desert you. Great marker for the Dutchman.
Game shot on the first leg.
Just like that
Denny
double
Olde
10.
Kalter.
And he does like a little fist pump as well. They know each other's game inside
Second
out
leg,
after
it's
the week
Scott
of
to throw
darts
first.
between them.
Game on.
Denny Olde Kalter, someone maybe we wrote off this morning. He's just beginning to show signs that qualification.
97.
It's not too far away from him. The twists and turns of this Group B. And looks like we're going all the way again.
Like the famous song went,
140.
don't stop thinking about tomorrow. It will soon be here, but we don't know who's going to be there.
134.
And as far as Dave Prince is concerned, it definitely has been a case of yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone.
60.
Yeah, it's been a tale of two halves for Davy Prince. He is the type of personality, though. He won't be affected too
60.
much. Again, he's on in a couple of games' time. That's the beauty of this Group B, with less games played than Group A and C. But more players qualifying, but it's tightly bunched.
58.
Another massive game after this one as well.
Bob Collins up against Matt Dennant will complete the first half of fixtures for our
96.
evening session here at the Super Series.
had a nice message from
58.
Justin Smith.
Scott, you require
earlier.
140.
What a finale that was. Can't wait to watch him tomorrow as Taylor looks at 114.
74.
No panic with his opponent on 185, but you don't expect him to miss a big number.
$97. Scott, you require 40.
For 1-1.
No score. Denny, you require 88.
Scott Taylor now has missed 21 darts at double in 8 legs of darts. Olde Kalter looking to step in on double 14.
Game shot on the
And
second
step in he
leg.
does
Denny
to
Olde Kalter.
get the break and to lead 2-0. Having a little conversation as to whose water's whose.
Third leg, it's Denny to throw first. Game on.
I suppose there's a glass and a half in everyone.
$100.
Yeah, we don't get those problems now in the professional game. They get a table each these days, don't they?
Well, even with our
85.
self-proclaimed coffee order tonight, Glenn, we had a little sticky which told us which was which. We have a little Super Series coffee club, don't we, on a Thursday and Friday
45.
night, which me and Glenn are a part of.
Much needed.
49.
Much needed after my lobster. I told my wife I had egg and chips, though. Very nice area of Portsmouth. Port Solent was there
99.
tonight.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, it is a very nice part of the world. Very nice curry house just to the back of that particular
93.
part of the world.
Much better than that council estate you live on.
$100. $60. Denny, you require
An
157.
extremely disappointing performance so far from Scott Taylor. Frustrated at lack of missed doubles, north from 6 again in this game.
57.
I mean, Denny hasn't been spectacular, averaging under 80. Still comfortably 2-0 up and looking good for 3-0. Surprised?
I'll tell you what, if Denny Olde Kalter offered this version of Scott Taylor, he would have said yes and then twice on Sundays. But a player of his
Denny
class,
require
of his
100.
capabilities, will always find some kind of response. That 174 has piled the pressure on the Olde Kalter throw, and he's going to
60.
get 3 at tops
Scott, you
to win the
require
third
40.
leg. The issue has been not the scoring stakes for Scott, it's been finishing a leg off. And
No
still it's an
score.
issue. It's 9 darts at double
Denny
missed.
require 40.
Scott Taylor's next game is Rob Collins, so he's going to have a while to...
Game shot on the
Honda.
third leg. Denny Olde Kalter.
Incredible result. Like I said, this is one of Denny's weaker games he's had. He hasn't been great himself, but
Fourth
the
leg, it's Scott to
difference
throw first. Game on.
is quite simply been that, hasn't it, Henry?
0 from 9 for Scott Taylor. He has now missed, in a game and a half worth
80.
of darts, 24 doubles. To put it into context, last night altogether he had 38 attempts at double and hit
100.
15. It's a stark contrast, which could make a stark contrast of fortunes.
It's been like two different
29.
tournaments for each player, hasn't it? I mean, Prince doesn't look like the player he was last night. I think the only thing we've got is still the unpredictable Matt Dennant. Rob Collins
60.
is really now back in the mix. Huge game coming up next. Where he plays Matt Dennant, which version of him are we going to get? Still so many questions, and we are none the wiser of any of the players who are going to qualify.
45.
Just to put this into context, Glenn, Scott Taylor in 2 matches has missed more darts at double that Denny, Olde, Kalter had a doubles altogether over 4 games last night.
140.
I mean, the beauty of the MODUS Super Series, you can
140.
You can have a game like this and then bounce back next, but it will be frustrating for Scott Taylor because he doesn't want to go into tomorrow night if he qualifies with this on his mind that the doubles have just passed him by all of a sudden. It is a strange performance from him.
59.
Is it game over?
Denny requires 74.
Could well be, because Olde, Kalter 74 points away from the victory points. It's double
Game,
16 to
shot,
seal a
and
4-0
the match.
success for
Denny
Denny Olde,
Olde,
Kalter.
Kalter.
And Scott Taylor is going to have to wait for his ceremonial progression through to finals night if it is to be the case. Denny Olde, Kalter getting over the line by 4-0. A convincing win for Denny against Scott. And coming up after the break, well, this group is going to bunch up regardless of the result of this one as Rob Collins takes on Matt Dennant.
Welcome back. Well, Group B is turning out to be more unpredictable than it might have seemed when the night got underway. Scott Taylor was a win away from qualifying ahead of his last match and lost that game 4-0. So he remains a victory away, but we won't see him again until Game 7 when he takes on Rob Collins, who is in action now against Matt Dennant. And if Collins can claim his second win of the night, then he will put himself firmly in the race and maybe even in the provisional qualifying spots himself. So to talk you through the action, it's back to Henry Deacon and Glenn Durrant.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Chris. And yeah, Rob Collins was maybe someone I disregarded this evening, but maybe just fell nicely for him, just getting prinsy when
First leg, it's
was on
Rob
the
to
back
throw
of
first.
a defeat.
Game on.
Which version of Matt Dennant are we going to get? That's the question for me. I mean, he was disappointing in defeat to Rob Collins last night. Right in the middle of last night, his game really disintegrated. Well,
25.
I've seen a lot of changes from last night. Is it the case that Matty this time is going to start producing his best darts? Already Rob Collins is
96.
throwing his arms about.
Yeah, it's a sort of dip that we
60.
haven't really come to expect of Matt Dennant here at the Super Series. As we mentioned, one thing we know from him is we kind of know that we come to expect him.
39.
And it's kind of against the grain of his recent Challenge Tour form as well. Having a look at his games over the last couple of Challenge Tours, well, the lowest average that I can find altogether is
60.
an 81.85 in a 5-1 win against Ben Quelby. It's 85.22s, there's 93.26s, 85.3s, a ton plus average, a 91, 93,
100.
96. I could go on and go forth, but there's no indication that this was coming.
134.
I mean, the good news is not showing that externally. I think he knows that he's well capable of qualifying.
58.
He knows the situation, but he's not showing that to his opponent or to us. Still in his hands. I mean, all 5 players will think they can still qualify from this group right now.
81.
And like I said, we are none the wiser. There's still very much to play for. And each game you feel is like a 4-pointer.
Well, everything's still to play for. Every
57.
scenario
Robbie
is
required
still up
141.
in the offing pretty much. Collins looks for the 141 to take the opening leg. It's not to be for him, and so Dennant looking to find the break.
85.
If he
Matt,
can
you
find the
require
151.
151.
It's been a disappointing night so far, hasn't it?
93.
Is that,
Robbie required
can we
56.
put that down to the tension, the tightness of the group?
Sometimes, because of the tightness of the practice room, you can feed off a lot of things.
36.
And sometimes, as we saw,
Matt, you
and we
required
see again a
58.
Bob Collins flicker of emotion, we saw on Tuesday everybody inflate their level. It can be the same the other way as Dennant stares down
Game
top for a
shot
1-0
first
lead.
leg.
And a
Matt
break
Dennant.
of throw for the Scholar.
Yeah, just a 20 darter, but that 18 was carelessly close to the big
Second
one
leg,
there.
it's Matt to throw first. Game on.
But nobody tonight has come out and said, I am going to qualify.
$40.
Well, you've seen everybody play. We're getting to the nitty-gritty of this group. You're normally good with your predictions for a Saturday night.
42.
How do you see it going?
I think everybody's going to lay their hat on Darryl Pilgrim, and rightly so because of what he's done this week. However, he hasn't played for a couple
100.
of days, and he'll be writing off the bat on game 1 tomorrow night. So if you're going to catch him, try and catch him cold and catch him early.
140.
Showed a couple of signs of vulnerability at points today, but he did enough to get over the line. I just wonder whether Justin Smith's going to feel an absolute
60.
free roll tomorrow evening. And because of that, we might see the best of him. And I think he's the type of player that will react to a crowd better than most as well.
Yeah, what a story that would be for Justin
121.
Smith. I mean, it would be that classic going on the incline throughout the week because he was poor early doors. just got better and better. And that sensational
98.
conclusion to Group C. Something I won't forget. And maybe he was very confident and bullish, wasn't he, in the interview afterwards? And he will win it, he said. And who's to doubt him?
45.
Well, that happened in week 2 of the previous phase. Reece Robinson said that he was going to win it. He duly did with all of his aura.
We knew when he was
54.
born, Reece Robinson had an
Robbie
aura.
required 153.
Still my favourite interview of Series 4.
Bless him, he didn't know whether he needed to hand the mic over or he wanted to shake my hand.
99.
I have to say, I thought it was
Matt, you
superb in
require
Champions Week.
149.
On a different kind of week, a bit of luck, bit of things here and there, but he was just up against somebody like Luke Littler. And many congratulations to Luke. I don't think we've had a chance today.
133.
that as
Robbie
Collins.
required 54.
Had 2 darts tops in the previous leg without success. Come on, he says.
Game shot on the second leg.
Solid as a rock this time.
Collins.
He does like to give it the big one when he hits a double.
And perhaps ironic the name Solid
Third
as a
leg, it's
rock,
Rob to throw
considering where
first.
he's
Game
from.
on.
Bognor Regis. The football team is nicknamed the Rocks.
I thought you were going to say Gibraltar.
Their cup competition in Gibraltar, their national cup
140.
competition, is actually called the Rock Cup.
Where do you get this information, or do you just say things and I'm expected to believe them?
You can go on to
59.
Google now. You can go on to Google now, and I can tell you that the National Cup competition of Gibraltar is the Rock Cup. And that the national champions are the Lincoln Redims. Collins hits a max. Let's move back to the
180.
darts. Actually, before we move back to the
No,
darts,
let's go back to the darts.
in fact, the Lincoln Redims actually hold the record for most consecutive titles by UEFA member nation. 14 in a row. There's a stat for you, Glenn.
45.
As Collins here looks set to open up a 2-1 lead because he's got all the luxury of time.
Wake me up before he goes.
55.
Rob Collins is just all of a sudden just taking control. And another disappointing performance from Matty Dennant. I didn't expect it. I don't think he did, and the bookies didn't. I still had him joint favourite to top the group tonight.
140. Robbie
He's just not at
required
the races, is he?
126.
It's just not quite happened for him. It's been one of those nights, as we like to call it.
Double 18. That
Game
is
shot on the third
sensational.
leg. Rob Collins.
Absolutely beautiful from the first dart. Just indicated to me that he was just laying up the 1-2-6.
Fourth leg. It's Matt to
Traditionally,
throw
you would go
first.
down in the
Game on.
19s. And look at him. Boy, is he pumped up. I really
60.
enjoy seeing Rob Collins. That's what I like to see from a player. Not putting off your opponent, but just getting yourself so riled up, because some players need that.
140.
Some players want to be super relaxed when they throw a dart, like Matty Dennant. Hardly any emotion. He just plays the dart, throws the dart, but Rob needs that fight.
140.
Look at him. Look at that snarl again.
The many faces of Rob Collins.
100.
Here's a note for our social media admin. Can we collate as many different facial expressions of him tonight as possible? Because we might just well go through the card, because it is a night of high emotion
85.
here at the Live Lounge. Because as things stand, in terms of the league table, Scott Taylor on 8 points. The victor of this one will move on to 6 points, whether it's Collins, whether it's Dennant. And they'll be joined on that mark
91.
by Denny Olde Kalter and Dave Prinz. It's going to be a tight run to the line, no matter what happens this evening.
140. Robbie required 170.
Oh, this would have been special. Just the way that's beautiful again.
105.
That puts an
Matt, you
awful
require
lot
76.
of pressure in the way Matt Dennant's playing right now. Make it 2-2.
Game shot on the fourth
I was
leg.
about to say I didn't have an awful lot of confidence the way Matt Dennant's playing, but that's the kind of player that he is. The ups and the downs this week has been
Fifth leg. It's
so
Rob to throw
incredible.
first. Game on.
But he's back in this game. Collins has been very, very good. He's averaging just shy of 93. 10 higher than Matt Dennant and increasing.
100.
Second max, and look at the roar that Rob Collins gives as well.
57.
Dread to think the emotions if he hits a 9. We'll never know.
45. 96.
Who's the most aggressive that you've seen up there? Who really needs to be pumped up? Aaron Monk?
Aaron Monk.
98.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Richard North?
But the thing with Richard North is we see
81.
him pumped up, but you kind of get sidetracked by how much he talks.
It was my favourite interview, so I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing with Rob Collins here.
100.
Just beginning to come to the fore. You can smell getting to 6 points. As he joins the gaggle of players there, this is getting super
100.
interesting.
Robbie requires 78.
Well, we thought potentially this could be a night where things could be sorted quite early. It looks like it's going to be the exact opposite as Collins stares down tops with a 3-2 lead.
58.
And he would have put himself a leg
Matt,
away
you
from the
require
victory pose, and now Dennant looking to do
167.
so with the 167. If he can, it would have been the accrue of the breaker throw, and he would have then had the darts to complete the
93.
job.
Robbie required 20.
Can't afford to miss again. And
Game
doesn't.
shot on the 5th lay. Rob Collins.
That's a snarl. That's a growl.
6th lay gets Matt to throw
And
first.
he knows where the
Game
camera
on.
is. Actually, talking about players that
96.
need to put a bit of adrenaline through the system. Steve West, when he's got a bit of a bee in the bonnet, usually aimed at us commentators and pundits as Collins nails a max, is one that can really fire off. But Rob Collins is giving it the full beans, the full tempo.
He is absolutely loving it up there.
94.
I'll be using that little part of the VT to show many players. That's what I like to see. Not everybody's personality is the same.
92.
It's just about controlling it now. That's the problem, because when you put too much emphasis on it, that's all of a sudden your hands can start shaking because you're that riled up.
57.
Big moments here for Rob Collins. He's 6 darts away from getting to 6 points.
59.
But coming up dry has now given Dennant a chance of a couple of trebles just to make things interesting. Remember, Collins against the darts here in the 6th.
100.
Ton leaves him on
Robbie
a finish,
required 170.
but it is first poke for Collins for the match. First poke at the fish, which isn't going to be found.
He likes bull on the 3rd.
92. Matt, you require 154.
The 154 isn't going to go, and so Collins to complete the job
43.
by 4 legs to 2.
Robbie requires 78.
And to give himself the perfect start to the night. Tops, and now double 10.
38. Matt, you require 111.
Big moment, not only in this match, but in this group. Just really taking his time here is Matt. He knows the importance of it. 90 left. Can't be done.
55.
Get ready for the roar.
Robbie requires 40.
This is for the match.
Game,
And
shots,
tots for
and the
Collins,
match.
and you can
Rob
see the
Collins.
raw sheer relief pour from the face of the man of steel as he gets the better of Matt Dennant by 4 legs to 2, doing so with an average of 92, 4 out of 9 when it came to the finishing. A 1-2-6, the highlight checkout as far as the man of steel from Bognor Regis is concerned. So victory for him by 4 legs to 2 means that he moves on to 6 points. He's actually leapfrogged Dave Prince, who's now out of a qualification space. It is all to play for, and Olde Kalter can put himself in a comfortable position if he can beat Prince after this short break.
Hello, welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we've seen 5 of tonight's 10 matches. Glenn, you've been in commentary with Henry Deacon. Now, this group could have been kind of signed and sealed, but it's far from it.
Yeah, I'm more confused than I was at the beginning of it there, and not once did I think at the beginning of the night that we'd be stood here talking after 5 games, and it's all about Rob Collins. He didn't really show that last night, but he's played 2-1-2. It is so tight. Every game feels like a 4-pointer right now.
Well, let's have a look at those results and the remaining fixtures for this evening. As Glenn just highlighted, Rob Collins is highlighted twice in those first 5 matches and didn't have a great night last night. A real turnaround for him. Olde Kalter as well, also winning 2 games. Scott Taylor started well, got the win over Prince between the top 2. Dave's lost both of his games. But what a shock result that was, 4-0 against Denny.
Yeah, it was just a really strange performance. I'm pleased for Denny Olde. I mean, he was, we talk so many positives about him in his Group A campaign. Faltered a little bit, but has come back tonight, but hasn't been brilliant tonight. It was just a really poor performance from Scott Taylor, especially on the outer ring.
Well, let's talk about Denny Olde more, because that was a real punishing display, wasn't it, in that one?
Yeah, it was, and like I said, we were beginning to criticise. He'd played 8 and lost 7 of his last 8 coming into tonight, and we had real concerns, but I think he's got a couple of wins now, and now he's looking good. Another huge game coming up.
Well, let's take a look at the table and guide you through where players are lying. And look, it's open. Anyone can qualify. Remember, the top 3 go through. You would still think Taylor would find those 2 points from somewhere, but it could be any other 2.
Yeah, I think it could be just a little wake-up call for Scott Taylor. I feel sorry for the next player who's going to play Scott, to be fair there. But, yeah, a big win here for Denny Olde. And let's, Dave Prince now sat in 4th place. But, again, a win here for Prince. He jumps right up to joint top. So, all to play for.
We say Taylor will find those points, but the way he was missing doubles against Olde Kalter earlier, is it definite?
I still will say he's got the quality to do it. It's just because it's been the outer ring where this guy, if he gets a dart or a double, and he does like that double 16, and it was a bit of a shell-shocked Scott Taylor in the end.
Yeah, we spoke about Denny's bad run before tonight. Another player is having a late surge is Rob Collins as well. 2 victories for him so far.
And I disregarded him. He wasn't in my sort of assessment there. I didn't see enough from him yesterday, but boy, do I like his passion. In fact, I love it. And some players really need that to get them going, and I just love that little VT there, because that's what it means to Rob Collins. And that little bit of aggression, he looks a better player when he does it.
Yeah, you'd want to play him at poker though, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, Rob Collins. He has just got that about him, that animation, that aggression. And there you see again. It's just really good to watch. You want to see players getting involved and enjoying themselves and feeling up for it.
Like I said, every player is different. I've tried to analyse throws, demeanours, attributes, personalities. Rob Collins just stands alone when it comes to passion and desire.
Yeah, big match coming next, isn't there, with Denny Olde against Dave Prince. Denny on a good run, Prince on a bad run. Do you think this could be the time to turn it around?
So you'd expect Denny to win this game, but just the way this Group B is going to go, maybe it's time for Davy Prince to get back to the form he was in last night. Like I said, Prince can go from 4th to 1st here. So, wow, like I said, still more questions and answers, really, as we go into this game. But really exciting. Sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, he might make me look like a mug if he doesn't, and Glenn will enjoy that. So I can't say I hope Prince wins, but for different reasons, maybe he will. Dave Prince against Denny Olde in the company of this man and Henry Deacon.
Cheers, guys. So, to the second half of the evening action we go here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. We kick off with Dave Prince up against Denny Olde. Both players on 6 points. Victor moving on to 8. And the Victor looking great in terms of qualification prospects. So, Dave Prince, it's kind of been a role reversal week as far as he's concerned. This time yesterday, things are looking really rosy for the Badger. He was 2 from 2. He made it 3 from 3 before then losing his final game to Scott Taylor 4-0. We thought at the beginning of the night maybe that was just a bit of a blemish at the end of an evening session and that things would still work out quite considerably for him on Friday. But 2 defeats so far. Averages of 83 and 82 and amongst there as well. Leads to real signs of and causes of concern for the Peterlee Badger. As far as the odds compilers are concerned, well, they can't split the pair. They're 5 to 6 each of 2. And is that, Glenn Durham, perhaps a fair reflection on this game?
No, I think that's a bit of a surprise to me, the way Dave has played tonight. But maybe like me, they're seeing the fact that Dave needs a win here, whereas early on he had a little bit of a buffer with them 6 points overnight. You feel it's a must win for the Badger.
It's a max for Prince.
Yeah, the good thing for Prince, Henry, is that he's had a few games just to go back and reset.
140.
And plan his attack again. It's been a setback, but he's old enough and wise enough to know that there's still all to play for. He's got 2 games, 4 points, and he secures qualification, he'll feel. And that's what he's got to do. It's just a massive... I look at the next game, another big 4-pointer.
41.
It's going to be an unbelievable conclusion to this Group B. Who is going to join? Darryl Pilgrim. Dom Taylor and the brilliant Justin Smith.
86.
Who do you think are going to be the three?
Yeah, it's Scott Taylor for sure. I'm going to stand by him because I just think it was a funny old game. I think he'll do a number on Rob Collins next, but how many times have I been proven wrong?
43.
So much so, we decided to let Chris Murphy be a pundit in front of you.
I'll tell you what, he's got a flag saying, come on, Prinsey. I'm certain of that. Because I will get my own back tomorrow night.
139. Dave, you require 152.
So 152 for Prince to get the opening leg on the board. Denny Olde Kalter severely threatening the break chance on 78.
$100. Denny requires 78.
Start on the 18s. Doesn't want to slip into the 1 or 4, as I was about to say. 77 left. So he's got the option of treble 19 or maybe treble 15. The double 10. Just double checking, triple checking. Does like this part of the board.
58.
Not to be.
Dave, you require 52.
So 52 for Prince to get the opening rubber on the board. It is 2 in hand at tops. And now down to double 10. Is it Prinsey's den?
32.
Not on this occasion.
Denny, you require 20. Game shot on the
Olde
first
Kalter
leg.
breaks. He
Denny
leads
Olde
1-0,
Kalter.
done in the space of 17 darts. Victory for him will put him on to 8 points
Second
in the
leg
group.
is Denny
And
to throw first. Game on.
will put him in a real handy position. He'd know that then the fate's in his own hands against Rob Collins in his final match of the session. He can then win and then be in. Scott Taylor's going to have that fate. Once again, he's going to get a second crack at it. Next up against Rob Collins. Still his space into tomorrow night's final. And we thought at the beginning of the evening that Dave Prince
87.
stood himself a very good chance of being there, but 2 defeats from 2 to kick off his night sees himself outside the top 3.
Yeah, it's lacked real quality tonight, hasn't it? I mean, the highest average being
60.
Rob Collins in his previous game to Matt Tennant with just a 92, but you just sense the tension, which you can often get in Group B when it's so tightly packed. I mean, that was banging. Treble 20.
80.
When you actually look and break down Dave Prince's career, most of his successes come in set play tournaments. Look at the World Seniors last year. He's had some good results back at the Lakeside back in the day.
100.
Yeah, he was really tough to play in the Isle of Man, and the Dutch Open he really liked as well. But Davy Prince, for me, if you said to me, what do you think? I just see him at the Lakeside qualifiers. Very Dave Richardson, very Bobby
140.
George. He just come alive there. And I said it a couple of times last night. You know, you had people. What was the Norwegian guy? Rune David? Or?
Rune David, yeah.
140.
He was bouncing around, and literally 20 seconds later, Dave Prince qualified, and he just casually shook the guy's hand. You wouldn't have known if he'd have won or lost. That's the type of personality with Dave Prince. You'll never, ever see him jump around the hockey and
121.
throw his arms in the air. It's just not the type of
Denny
personality he's
required
got.
141.
That's what I think, apart from the many, many times I played him locally.
Likes double 18, so treble 15 was the intended route for Olde Kalter, and so Prince is back for 73 to level proceedings up and to
83.
bring it back to one apiece.
Dave
It'd be
requires 73.
2 breaks in succession to kick this game off.
Should be 14 tops. I feel it's a must hit for Dave.
Game shot on the second leg.
Just
Dave
needed
Prince.
something tonight. Is it as simple? Just hitting that double top with the last dab, being that spark that he
Third leg,
needed.
it's Dave to throw first.
It can
Game
be
on.
small things that set you into life. And you know how weird this sport is. I mean, look at earlier on, Charlie Large and Justin Smith.
What a game that was, wasn't it? What an afternoon. What a conclusion. I mean, I say that with a big smile on my face. I mean, I was
96.
spoiled with just record-breaking Group A's, the most unbelievable conclusion to a Group C. It's been a lovely week, and I think tomorrow night's going to be an absolute cracker. I really do.
Well, this is a week that's going to go down in the annals of history.
$140.
Daryl Pilgrim twice breaking the record average, hitting a 9.
100.
What we've seen earlier from Justin Smith, it's been a week that's been uncompared.
265 is the 19s.
114.
He's had a bum steer.
$58. Dave, you require 151. $59.
Better from Prince. Denny hasn't been great tonight, you know. Totally different Denny Olde. He seems to have lost a bit of spark, yet he's got 2 wins under the belt.
96. Dave, you require 92.
What a confusing group this is. Opportunities for every single player. Let's reach the real conclusion to this group. I'm none the wiser.
Game shot on the third leg.
From
Dave
absolute
Prince.
nowhere. That's a beautiful finish. A treble 16, double 12 from Dave Prince.
Fourth
And
leg,
that's
it's
what he
Denny to
does.
throw first. Game on.
At times it can look quite leisurely, and then he can be really destructive when he gets a chance. Dave Prince just giving himself a couple of opportunities, and from absolutely nowhere, then he smashes in a max.
$43.
Can he follow up? There's the 4th. There's the 5th. But
140.
can't quite find the 6th.
Yeah, he just sort of lost grip of his dart there. I don't know if you noticed there, Henry, with that 6th dart, but right now I think it's just about the 2 points.
60.
Save the 9 darters for tomorrow night, he's thinking. Can he get himself back to parity? He's thrown a beautiful, the timing of these last 9 darts.
100.
Exactly with the kind of darts Denny showed throughout his Group A campaign. This is a demolition job in this leg.
Well, it's been a complete and utter off leg as far as Dave Prince is concerned thus far. It's been a complete compare
96.
and contrast.
Denny, you require 81.
Don't you think that just sums up the group?
It's been a crazy group, Glenn. He doesn't have to go for the ball, and so he went treble 10 to try and
49.
lead himself on double 16, which he's eventually going to do after 12 darts.
Using the board well with a treble 20 here. Not to beat,
92.
so plenty
Denny,
of
you
time
require 32.
in the hands of Denny Olde Kalter.
Game
2-2.
shot on the fourth leg. Denny Olde
Now
Kalter.
simply a best of 3. And Dave Prince will have the darts.
Fifth leg, it's Dave to
deep
throw
in
first.
thought.
Game on.
And a best of 3. You want to start with a ton. You're thinking 15 darter.
You want something red
140.
pen like here. Kicks off 140.
$59.
Now, just to confirm, in our next game between Scott Taylor and Rob Collins, a victory for Taylor, as has been the case ever since he beat Dave Prince in match 1
60.
tonight. A win would be enough for him to go through.
45.
The inconsistency of the players tonight. Denny was looked absolutely first class in that last leg, and I thought that was the real kickstart for him. That 140 star from Prince here.
95.
Last treble 20 there. He's a big, big favourite for this leg. Is he a big, big favourite for this match? Them
100
with real aplomb. He needs to get more and more consistency.
$60. $59. Dave, you require 146.
Minimum 6 star for Prince. Has the Badger budged it?
50.
He's left himself on 96. Olde Kalter can only try and apply ample enough pressure.
Just not doing it though, is he?
58. Dave, you require 96.
So 96 and 6 for a 3-2 lead. Double 18. 2 in hand. Now across for double 9. Just
87.
inside. Could have laid up, potentially.
You don't always think when it's this tight as well, but I tell you what, this is in the balance. It doesn't look like with that scoreline there on the right. Another treble makes it very, very interesting. He thought it was 120 there.
100.
Great darts in the
Dave, you
Dutchman.
require 9.
And believe it or not, the hardest part of this one is just getting the big one because your arms tighten up, your brain's thinking a double 4. But that's plumb. Wayward.
No score. Denny, you require 80.
Well, this would be a bit of a smash and grab as far as Olde Kalter is concerned. Another one of them would give himself a dart at tots for a 3-2 lead. Break a throw.
40.
But it is just above the wire, and Prince comes back to put
Dave,
himself
you're
back
requiring
in
9.
front.
Nothing to separate them. Averages, the scoring, the checkout ratio. Now it's just about Prince and double 4. 2 darts. And he uses experience. Huge dart incoming.
No score.
And that was like a rerun of the previous score. Like I said, you don't often get much emotion from Prinsey.
Denny, you
Match
require
is
40.
like a roller coaster. Tops for the Dutchman.
For the break, he wants double 10.
Game
Found.
shot on the 5th leg.
And you can just
Denny
see with a
Olde
little
Kalter.
outlift of emotion just what that moment meant for Denny Olde Kalter. But it was controlled emotion
6th leg.
because
It's
he
Denny
knows
to
the
throw
job is not
first.
quite done
Game
yet.
on.
But he has it in the palm of his hands. 3-2 up on Dave Prince and with the darts for the match.
Well, I've seen the sublime to the ridiculous way from record-breaking groups to incredible conclusions.
180.
It's Group B. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Really, just nobody wants to get to grips with it and take control and secure their place
60.
tomorrow night. Well, Scott Taylor's going to have a big chance up next. Denny Olde Kalter is doing everything in his powers without playing his brilliant best. But he's looking good to get to 8 points to join
83.
Taylor.
And in fact, we would go above Scott Taylor. If he wins it by a one-leg margin, he'll do it by virtue of legs 1. If he can
100.
win it 4-2, he'll go outright top of the table on legs different. Both, of course, pinned on 8 points. Taylor takes on Collins in the next one.
And that first start was absolutely begging for more.
101.
He'll take that. 200 points ahead. We are coming to the conclusion of this game. It's been an absolute disaster of a night so far for Dave Prince.
100. Denny
He'll take something special in his last game.
137.
Prince will play the unpredictable Matt Dennant. That game could have anything involved.
$38.
Is it over just yet? What a mess.
It's a bit of a Lionel. 99 for the match. Shouldn't have been on 99.
100.
But he's going to have to,
Denny
to
requiring
clean it up.
99.
You look at the 19's bed. Big target. It's double 16. That treble 19 was an absolute beauty. Clean, crisp hit on the big 10. Takes his time, composure.
83.
Just not to be. Now this group
Dave required
is baffling.
141.
And don't be surprised if Prince smashes this in.
Well, it'd be so typical of what we've seen. If we saw absolutely nothing from Prince and then suddenly a 1-4-1 out. But it's going to be Olde Kalter to
45.
wrap for the points up on double
Denny
eight.
requires 16.
Hasn't been spectacular. Proper match play. A little bit of tension, a little bit of panic. And you can see how much it means to him. He's feeling it. Now it's about bottle. He gets
Game,
there
shots,
in the end.
and the match. Denny
Ultimately,
Olde
it's about the 2 points. Denny Olde Kalter wins against Dave Prince 4-2. It wasn't spectacular. He won't remember it, but the importance of that game could be huge in qualification for the Dutchman. For Dave Prince, it's 3 losses out of 3, and he will be gutted. For Denny Olde Kalter, he continues to motor on and joins Scott Taylor at the top. Scott Taylor is actually up next against the man of the moment, Rob Collins.
Welcome back. Well, tonight has been a night of redemption in the MODUS Super Series. Group B has seen a real turnaround in the table. Dennant, Olde, Kalter only won one match last night, but he's won all three tonight to climb his way to the top of the table, just getting ahead of Scott Taylor, although he does have a game in hand here, but that is against the man immediately behind him in Rob Collins, who's also unbeaten this evening. A big match for the pair of them. Taylor's still in that position where if he gets one more win, he will be through to finals night, but Rob Collins can put himself on the brink of doing the same himself. So another big match at the Super Series, and Henry Deacon and Glenn Durrant will guide you through it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. And every game seems to be a really big game, and continue looking at the next one and the one after that as well. But for me, it's all about the man in your picture, Scott Taylor. He had a really disappointing last game. Really poor on the outer ring.
Rob to throw
but very
first.
similar to Dave
Game
Prince.
on.
He's had time to prepare for this game. Again, you have to say, the man of the moment, Rob Collins, has been absolutely brilliant tonight. A 92 average in his previous game. Real passion and desire, which that was demonstrating the game between the pair of them yesterday, which I didn't feel. Scott Taylor, I think it got him firing as well. It was a victory for this man. And I do see there's just something in that snarl. We'll see lots of snarls here.
Oh, there won't be any shirking when it comes to the facial emotions in this game. That is for certain. Rob Collins has been giving it the full beans tonight. Scott Taylor isn't afraid to let out a bit of a roar, and he needs to himself. And it was certainly reflective in this particular encounter yesterday. It was Scott Taylor who won it by 4-2 in the end. And you could tell that both players are feeding off of that particular energy in that game.
Testosterone at its maximum, wasn't it? It was a real alpha male game. Once again, Collins is out fantastically well here.
134.
This is the making of a really good game. You just sense there's something
161.
special going on here. Great to see Collins playing so well. I like the bullseye here.
90.
So
Scott, you
Collins.
require 146.
146 for the opening leg breaker throw for Scott Taylor.
40. Robbie requires 71.
Not to be, and so Rob Collins is back for 71 to take the opening leg, and he's going to get 2 in his hand at double 10 to do exactly that.
Game shot.
In it goes, 15 dart hole for Rob Collins to get up and running. He leads 1-0.
Great stuff from Rob Collins.
Second leg.
Just shows what a little bit of confidence does to a player. He could be 3 out of 3 and
85.
joining Denny and Scott Taylor on 8 points. Scott Taylor, he's having that wobble that most players have. He needs to snap out of it right now. This is a big, big game. He won't want to go to the final game for qualification against Matt Dennant on last.
Absolutely not, because then you are feeling it.
140. $97.
How far is Rob away from here?
Bognor Regis, so it's around about 40 minutes up the road from where we are in Portsmouth tonight. So, yeah, nice little jolly jaunt up the A27. Has been working in between
100.
playing here this week.
$99.
That's the makings for a very nice game. This both settled very nicely.
$83. Scott, you require 96.
So 96 apiece, but it is Taylor with first dibs.
36. Robbie require 96.
Decisions. It's double 8.
80.
I don't know about you,
Scott,
Henry,
you
but I
require
really
60.
fancied that. Scott Taylor needs something. And he needs something right now. Has to move. So if you're looking at that left-hand side of the double top, you can see enough of it.
20.
Can't execute.
Robbie requires
His
16.
trials and tribulations on the outer ring continue. He's having a disaster on the doubles.
Double 4.
No score.
Oh, and it strayed the other side, and that's the other side of the emotional Richter scale for Rob Collins. And so Scott Taylor back, wanting double top,
Scott,
and he's
you
had his
require
trials and
40.
tribulations here tonight.
Going into this game, if I was a headline writer, quite simply a tale of missed opportunities for everybody.
Game shot on the second leg.
Yes.
Scott Taylor.
And that is a real sign of happiness, but bordering on so
Third leg,
much
it's Rob to throw
frustration in his body.
first. Game on.
Can't believe he's playing the way he is, but he's back in this game.
Well, he almost had to hold back the emotions, didn't he, Scott Taylor?
58.
Trevorless from Collins.
$81.
Nothing to separate. This is the best I've seen of Rob Collins. I've seen him a couple of times here at the MODUS Super Series now. This is definitely the best session he's having.
180.
They have both got their chests out.
The two alpha
58.
males slinging it out on the main stage, and just look at the...
$134. $96. Robbie required 129.
Doesn't need to look at the 19s. Done something very similar earlier on a 1-2-6, so he's been very clever.
89.
Excellent board management there from Rob Collins. I'm really, really impressed with what I'm seeing from him tonight. And Taylor is floundering.
134. Robbie required 40.
Well, this has come from absolutely nowhere as far as Scott Taylor's
Game shot on
concerned.
the third
Rob
leg.
Collins finds the
Rob
top,
Collins.
13 data, little look to the camera, and now back to task. 2-1 he leads.
Fourth leg, it's Scott to throw first. Game
And well
on.
deserved. He looks comfortable. He looks like he's
46.
enjoying the challenge. And he's right in the mix. Come on, he says, because for a big guy, he's sort of caresses that
100.
follow through. It's not the power that you see generated from Scott Taylor. You look at that throw,
81.
very just snaps the dart in. And for Rob, very much like Johnny Clayton, he just sort of as if he's curling the ball in the top corner. A totally different throw, but come on, Rob, he says.
80.
That first dart when placed there is picture perfect.
140
for Taylor.
$140.
The dart player does like to chatter to themselves. Collins is doing plenty of that. This is
140.
warming up very, very nicely.
Taylor looking for the fight back, but Collins looking for the big break
100.
chance. And a ton here
Scott,
leads
you
181. And so
94.
Taylor back for 94 to level up at 2 apiece.
39. Robbie require 81.
Does leave a 2 dart, but that was a little bit scruffy. It's Bull for 3-1.
50.
Just a fantastic camera angle there. As you can see
Scott,
the
you
dart just
require
sort of
55.
peter out at the end. Tops for 2-2. Takes his time. There's the grimace. There's the growl.
45.
No double 10.
Robbie required 31.
And the problem is he doesn't like the breakdown from the 16, so you may not feel like there's a surmountable change of ploy for him. As Collins goes for double 12. Now double
Game
6
shot
for
on
the
the fourth
3-1
leg.
lead.
Rob
And again,
Collins.
the little let out of emotion. That little pent-up roar. And then he struts down the hockey. Almost Conor
Fifth leg, it's Rob to throw
McGregor-esque.
first.
But
Game
Scott
on.
Taylor's face was planted in the other direction. He knows nothing of what Collins has done. Perhaps the right thing to do.
84.
What a
180.
Now Scott Taylor letting out the grunt of emotion.
135.
Look at the steely eyes on his face. Remember, a win and he's through. And the sheer venom that second dart entered the board in. Threatening the break chance.
We've seen an incredible comeback earlier from Justin Smith. Good friends
43.
of Scott Taylor. Can he replicate? He's put himself in a position because he needs to break Rob Collins twice. He's well on the way for the first one. Is still a big ask. Collins is a heavy favourite for this match. Can join Denny and Scott Taylor on 8 points. Stay with us because this
99.
is a fascinating end.
Scott, you
to an
require
incredible
121.
Treble 17. Would have given him a dart of the bull for 3-2. And so Collins,
54.
okay, a big chance of the 140. It's a chance nonetheless to win the match.
Rob
100.
Collins, that
Scott,
is
you require
excellent.
67.
This is pressure of the highest degree. He's only going to get one dart. One dart at tops to save his bacon, you feel. And it's
27.
not to be. And you can see exactly what he feels about that.
Robbie require 40.
He sinks to his knees and he may well be sinking to the floor. He may be sunk by Collins as he finds the top to complete the job. And now Scott Taylor's the man waiting in darting purgatory because now he slips to beneath the canvas and slips down to third place in the league table. Rob Collins beating Scott Taylor by 4 legs to 1.
Welcome back. Well, before we get into the meat of this next match, we're just going to show you the league table because our boffins behind the scenes have been crunching some numbers and can now confirm that Denny Olde Kalter is safe. That's because of all the variables with who plays who. Even though he can be caught on points, he can't be caught by enough players on leg difference. So the Dutchman is the fourth name at finals night, but it is... well, win or bust for the two playing now, Dave Prinz and Matt Dennant. Whoever comes out on the wrong end of this result will depart the tournament. Will it be Prinz or the Scholar? Let's find out in the company of Henry Deacon and Glenn Durrant.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. And that was a little bit of an eye-opener for me there for Denny Olde Kalter. So I don't think he'll know that either. But we're doing our very best to just do the number crunching behind the scenes. But all Dave Prinz can do is get up there and do a real job. It's been a really disappointing night for him. He knows he went back to his hotel last night on a real high. Openly admits he's had that period of time off, but just got the real bit between his teeth. But Matty Dennant is the one player, Henry, out of the five who I think goes away as the most disappointing. If he can somehow qualify, it would be incredible because he's got a couple of games still to play as Matty, but just hasn't been his Group B campaign. And we know how good normally he is under these circumstances.
And quite suddenly, Scott Taylor, the man who we thought was probably as safe as houses as far as getting through is concerned, is suddenly possibly put into the mire of things.
Reminiscent of Dom Taylor today. I mean, he went right down to the wire. Is Scott Taylor doing exactly the same because he has to wait. He will not enjoy the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes before he plays Matt Dennant again.
But Dom Taylor got through. Is Scott going to join his fellow namesake?
And another Dutchman to a finals night. Just adds to the list, as you know, especially recently as well.
59.
I don't think Denny will realise the fact that he has already qualified. I think he'll be playing his heart out against Rob Collins next.
140.
It'll be a bitter pill for Prinzy to swallow overnight. Even better if he can just put together a really impressive game here. Just give himself the slightest opportunity.
Yeah, he's currently on 6 points -4, so you get the sense as being his last game. Victory's going to have to be big.
As big as 4-0, really.
Well, 4-0 puts him back on an equilibrium of an even Kalter. 0.
55.
Well, then he's looking at Denny to do a job on Rob Cole. We are number crunching to the maximum. We'll try not to overcomplicate things.
Remember when we were laughing about the fact that Group C was so simple? We've been made to be bitten by that tonight as Dennant looks at the 145 to take the opening leg.
Well, let's be honest, Henry. Off air, me and you thought this would be over quite quickly.
We expected Scott Taylor to
run away early doors. In far from it. Another one of them. That could have been for a real Prinz special.
98. Matt, you require 88.
So, one dart at the ball.
63.
Not to be for Dennant. And so Prinz comes back requiring 60 for an opening leg breaker throw. Precariously low. But precociously good on the tops. Breaker throw for Dave Prinz. He leads 1-0.
Second leg, it's Dave to throw first.
Still not qualify. Like I said, so many permutations. No wonder I'm going great. What do you mean going?
That Jessamyn's doing a good job, Glenn.
55.
Cheek. Most disappointing player this week,
93.
He just looks so chipper and happy and relaxed tonight. I even thought he'd run through the card.
Well, we said earlier on this evening that Sometimes we
96.
can look at numbers, we can crunch numbers, and we can give perhaps rhyme or reason as to why one thing happens, one thing doesn't happen. But this is an anomaly for Matt Dennant.
96.
We crunched the numbers earlier as far as his Challenge Tour form is concerned in 2023. This is completely off the pace of the numbers that we've seen from around about a week ago.
And it's not like he doesn't like this stage because he's a proven winner on that
140.
stage. But that's darts. One day you can be the best in the world, the next day you struggle to hit a big 20. I don't think he's the type of person who'll
100.
analyse too much, Matt. I get the feeling with him, he'd just say, well, I'll be back next time and I'll do a better job. But Prince, he's got another opportunity here. He's got the darts.
60.
No reward. That's always frustrating when you throw 3 good darts.
Maxi to leave 32.
180. Davey required 150.
And suddenly the break back is very much a possibility. Prince needs this 150.
I was going to say, don't expect the 3 bulls. Tell you what, the size of them barrels, he'd struggle to get the 3 of them in.
59.
He's always
Matt, you
thrown quite a
required
heavy
32.
darters, Dave.
Double 8. Now double 4.
Game shot on the second
To break
leg.
back, to
Matt
level up,
Dennant.
and to make it 1 apiece.
Like I said, Dave Prince not only needed to win this game, but win heavy, didn't he?
Third leg, it's Matt to throw first. Game on.
Just looking at sort of legs difference. Going to win 4-3 here. Is it going to be good enough?
$44. $38.
To remind a loser of this game is out. That's what they're playing for right now. Interesting, though, that the winner of this game is not guaranteed. That's how bizarrely tight this group is.
29.
The only thing we can tell you so far is Dennant, Olde, Kalter will be here tomorrow night. And what a welcome addition. The ADC Europe are sending players over, which are doing mighty fine.
140.
The only thing we know for a fact cannot happen is all players can finish on 8 points. It's the only thing we know for a fact.
Have you had that happen yet?
We've come close before. I'm sure we've had all players on 6 before. I'm sure we've had all players on 6. I remember a scenario just before
81.
Christmas where we had a group where all players on 4 points, and I'm sure they then ended up being all on 6 points at the halfway stage of the next night. I'm sure it was a group that involved David Cameron, Andy Jenkins and the like, just before Christmas last year.
100.
I think James Richardson might have been in that particular group as well. I think recently there was a
134.
group, and I can't pinpoint where and when. My brain serves to do me any justice here, but we were very close to, I think it was a result away from it being all players tied on 8. So I think it was the
84.
Lee Budge and Fallon Sherritt Creek, wasn't it? Or something like that?
Yeah, lots of darts going on this weekend.
100. Davey required
So many players at the
139.
development tour. Like I said, congratulations to Luke Litter, a real MODUS Super Series legend now at the tender age of 16. He's now going to be a professional player. What a story that is.
We heard Chris Mason's thoughts on this last week. I want to gather yours in the next leg as
39.
Dennant goes
Matt,
to
you
the
required
113 to
113.
put himself 2-1 in front.
Well, I did quite an extensive interview with Phil Barge yesterday with my thoughts, so I won't spoil it as Dennant looks at tops.
93. Davey required 100.
I was going to say he's not one for double-double, but I think the way that's lain,
60. Matt, you required 20.
for 2-1.
Game shot on the third leg. Matt
There in the
Dennant.
end. All of a sudden, Matty Dennant can get himself to 6 points. Incredibly.
Fourth
in
leg,
the
it's Dave to throw
in-play
first.
table,
Game on.
Dave Prince is in last place. From that sensational day, them 3 wins out of 3. How this Group B can change just like that.
Well, going into the last
59.
game of yesterday's session, he was top of the table. Now he's bottom of the lot and may well be staring elimination in the face. And he is going to be back tomorrow for the ADT belt match against Tony Wood. But as things stand, that might be all we'll be seeing from the Badger tomorrow.
You have to think how he's going to be feeling as well, because I know how much he wanted to be here on Saturday night.
And we're going to talk about the psychology of this game now, because it is a new concept.
140.
If both players from the attached groups go out, is it a distinct advantage for the
43.
player in Group C because they've had longer to process and recover than the player in Group B where they're going to rake up and it'll still feel raw?
Yeah, but Dave is just a little bit different to the norm. Nothing phases him. Like I said, I think Dave Prince has got a heartbeat of about 30. You never see much emotion. He'll just shrug it
81.
off, Dave. He'd be disappointed. His family will be disappointed. Like I said, he's just a real stalwart of Northeast Arts. And like I said, just seeing him up there brings so many happy
100.
memories for me. But this type of personality he has, he wouldn't tell you how down or disappointed he is. He'll just see tomorrow as a new day and watch out Tony Wood.
5 PM we start that particular encounter.
77.
Prince leaving himself 144 to level the teams up at 2 apiece. How handy can Dennant leave this against the darts?
100. Davey required 144.
Tun leaves himself on 124. Prince looking to tie up. We're going to level up, but not going to happen on this occasion. And so Dennant comes back for the 124. For the breaker throw and to put in 3-1 to the good.
37. Matt, you require 124.
Possibly a big tide turning moment.
Yeah, just double checking what Prince is on.
99. Davey required 107.
$88 left, so treble 16. And that would have left double top. Chance for Dennant for 3-1 without being his destructive best. Like you said, he just stood behind,
51.
planning his
Matt, you
attack.
required 25.
Quite simply, don't miss the big number, Matt. 2 darts at your desired double.
Game shot on the
3-1.
foreplay.
Big
Matt
moment.
Dennant.
And maybe Matt Dennant can just begin to work his way back into it. But you get the sense he's going to have to win this big. If he can win this
Fifth leg,
4-1,
it's Matt
he
to
moves
throw
himself
first. Game
level on terms of the legs difference. And he plays Scott Taylor in the last game.
But to be fair, does it matter about leg difference? Just going to be a straight shootout.
180.
Well, we still have Rob Collins, Denny Olde, Kalter before, so we'll know more about the landscape at that point. Because, of course, if Rob Collins gets drubbed,
59.
everything could change.
I'm going to delegate. I'll let you do that.
81.
Hey, dear mate. Every single leg is important, I think, is the overall conclusion of that, isn't it?
60.
I wonder how much the dart players actually know. Do they have time to number crunch and now they're watching each game and seeing the leg difference change? I don't know.
45.
So in the practice room, the players have facility to a laptop which has a live league standings, has a live league table on there. It's up to them whether they want to look at that table or whether they don't want to look at that table. Now,
85.
we've been here long enough to kind of work out which types of players like to know, which type of players don't like to know, and which ones are the best at sifting out the potential permutations.
133.
We tend to find the European players are better at working them scenarios out. The scenario for Dennant is quite clear here. 62 points away from a 4-1 victory, which would put him onto 6 points and put him into play.
140. Matt, you require 62.
And really, from absolute nowhere, he hasn't been at his brilliant best. It's
game,
4-1 to
shot,
Dennant.
and the match.
And it's
Matt
goodbye to
Dennant.
Dave Prince. It was a fantastic day yesterday for Dave Prince. He really rolled back the years, and it was fantastic to see the legend in North East Darts. But that's all we'll be seeing him in this Group B campaign. Matty Dennant gives himself an opportunity with that victory over Prince, and another brilliant game coming. The qualified Olde Kalter against Rob Collins, who's on a march.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. We did warn you to expect more darting drama tonight, and we certainly have got it. This table could not be tighter between the players still trying to qualify. So tight, in fact, that one of the players on 8 points is actually safe, while the other two are still in jeopardy, and only 2 points separate the whole table. Dave Prince out, though. He doesn't have any more matches to play. I'll show you the fixtures remaining tonight. Is Denny Olde Kalter against Rob Collins, and Scott Taylor against Matt Dennant. Now, Olde Kalter is safe. If Collins wins, he joins him, and that would make the Taylor-Dennant clash a straight shootout. Guiding you through every tungsten twist and turn, it's back to Henry Deacon and Glenn Durrant.
I've just said to Glenn Durrant, sat alongside me in the commentary box, no one would have said that at the beginning of the evening.
What we said was wow, and we said it in tandem together. I mean, part of me would like to see a Rob Collins victory, just to see that last game go down to a last match shootout. I still think there's another twist and turn, and if Denny does a number here on Rob Collins, could then
First
Matty
leg, it's
and
Denny to throw
Scott
first.
Taylor qualify?
Game on.
Oh, stop it.
I know. I'll leave that one with you.
28.
I don't think Denny knows he's qualified.
$97.
Which in some ways may not be a bad thing because it means the intensity will be there from the get-go and the adrenaline will still be there.
100.
Not a good thing for Rob Collins' mind, although let's also paint the picture this way because the winner of this game will be the table topper. They will be the man on 10 points.
140.
And so that does come with its advantages.
End of the statement. Rob Collins played for, won for if he wins this game tonight.
125.
That's sort of been dwarfed with all the information that we're getting about how tight the group is, but this has been the star man. The man of steel. That was a potential nickname for me.
140.
British Steel was right where I was in a very major industry.
$100. Robbie required 124.
Bull.
99. Denny required 148. $58. Robbie required 25.
Cracking leg of dart on Rob Collins, and this would be for a break of throw. It's 2 dart to double 12.
13.
For the first time tonight.
Denny
Can we say he was a
required
little
90.
wild.
I think that'd be a fair assumption as he continues his argument with himself right at the back of the stage. The ball for Denny.
56.
Not to be,
Robbie
and so
required
Collins comes
12.
back for double six to take the opener against the darts.
Game shot on the first leg.
It's your night.
Rob Collins.
He certainly does know where that camera is. We'll have a nice montage of celebration who wins from Rob Collins later.
Second leg, it's Rob to throw
Has he
first.
been in the gallery and learnt
Game
all the
on.
numbers of the cameras?
What's it called when you scrunch it? Is it gurning? Is that the word? It could be reach the semi-finals of that if he doesn't win this game.
60.
Isn't it where the gurning, isn't it? Have I made that up?
I honestly do not have a clue what you're on about, Glenn. I hear you're right
96.
by some magical person in my ear.
I suppose I am an egghead. Have I ever told you about my opinions on eggheads?
95.
Do enlighten.
Never talk about it. Much better from Denny Olde Kalter when he really gets that pace in his arm.
140.
It's as if he needs to mortar that follow through. Maybe when he's just a little bit lackluster, a little bit of tension in his arm. But when he gets him free flowing, he looks really
60.
good. I mean, you know the sort of attributes needed to win on a Saturday night. I do go back to a couple of occasions with these guys coming over from Europe, but has he got the
43.
you think he's got the skills to be destructive tomorrow night? Do you think he's got that ceiling of 105 average when he really needs it?
But do you need 105 average to win a week?
You tell me.
60.
Because let me paint you a couple of other Dutch players who have won here. Patrick van den Boogaard, Jerome Mioch, week 11, week 12, last phase. Particularly in the case of Patrick, he needed to have one elevated performance against
34.
Wesley Plaisir. He did exactly that. But he did what he did the whole week, and it was enough for him to get over the line. Same case with Jerome Mioch. He wasn't exactly piling in ton-plus averages as if they
42.
were confetti at a Greek wedding, but he did enough and was consistent enough at the right moments to win the week. So sometimes you need to have a solid enough game to maybe get you through a week, because remember, nerves are going to play a part tomorrow night. There's no doubt about that.
Set up and a half.
180.
I don't think Collins was impressed with that. You can't take your eyes off Collins.
60. Denny, you require 8.
Double 4 for 1-1.
Game shot on the second leg. Denny,
There we are,
Olde,
one
Kalter.
apiece. As we were.
Third leg, it's Denny to throw first.
As it was,
Game
as
on.
Harry Styles would say.
$140.
What other players wear the heart on the sleeve behind players? There's someone who's like on my mind who's very reminiscent of what I'm seeing with Rob Collins tonight.
100.
Do you know what? I'd love to see a group with Rob Collins, Aaron Monk, Kevin Painter.
Yeah, good shout. Jenks, or is he not so much?
Jenks,
60.
Tommy Morris.
Yeah. And Richard North. There we go.
180.
Literally and metaphorically has got his bit between his teeth.
85.
Nothing to separate.
$105.
Again, excellent board management there. Rob Collins, 116 as a finish he'll fancy. Again,
71.
superb board management there.
Robbie
One just
retired
trickled away, but he was
116.
on the understand to know that the bullseye was the shot. Treble 20 needed. Treble 17 for 91.
42.
Well, that's not a gimme, the
Denny
74
required
finish there, so Denny's not out
145.
of this leg.
Not at all. Treble 15. Would have given him a dart at tops, and so Collins is now back for the break chance. But
129.
goodness me, he's
Robbie
going to have to take the 74 out
74.
now.
For a breaker throw, defining moment of this game. 56. Oh, dear.
42. Denny requires 16.
Double 8 for Denny Olde Kalter for 2-1.
Game shot on the third
Found
leg.
last dart in hand.
Denny Olde
2-1 to the
Kalter.
Dutchman. And Rob Collins, as the legs tick by, slowly
Fourth leg,
creeps
it's
his
Rob to
way
throw
down
first.
into
Game
third
on.
spot.
Just a beautiful camera angle. You could see them two darts being his guide. And just eased it into that double 8 there. And like I said, I don't think Denny
82.
Olde Kalter realises he's qualified. In my opinion, he thinks if I can win this game, I'm through. And he's given absolutely everything right now. And there's the pace of that arm.
180.
It's like a missile. It's like an American baseball player. And when he gets that timing right, it's a joy to watch. Here comes Collins.
140.
The cry of come on from Rob. There was a crowd here. They'll be crying out boo with the
96.
first start missing the treble.
$26.
Put himself in a fantastic position. Rob Collins tonight with 3 wins out of 3. Just happened. His first real bad moment of the night.
100.
Can he deal with it? Because his opponent is just beginning to look good.
$100.
But he couldn't find the find
Denny
with the last
required
dart. So Olde Kalter.
125.
The break in for 3-1. 1-2-5. Bull. Oh, he's too good.
Wrong shot for me, but of course. Fantastic setup play in the end, though. He'll have
Robbie
taken that at the
required
beginning. This is a big
153.
ask. 153 is a 1 in 20 shot. Would have been quite a euphoric response if that finish had gone.
83.
Denny
Olde
Kalter's
requires
been here
16.
before with his double 8.
Game shot on the fourth leg.
3-1 to the
Denny
Dutchman.
Olde
And just
Kalter.
look at the table. The in-play table is changing by the second because of legs difference. This is getting more
Fifth leg,
and
it's Danny
more
to throw
interesting.
first. Game on.
Right, so Matt Dennant's in fourth place on 6 points. He's not going to be seen on this particular graphic, but this is the top 3 as of now. Olde, Kalter, we don't need to worry about him because no matter what
134.
happens here, he's through. Taylor, 8 points plus 1. Collins, 8 points minus 1.
$55.
Yeah, heading to winner takes all territory possibly after the break.
Yeah, possibly.
60.
It could be a case of Scott Taylor beating Dennant and still Rob Collins qualifies. And we're getting to a stage where Dennant wins
98.
and Taylor still qualifies. I mean, there's just so much to play for.
Well, it literally depends on this leg.
$43.
The easiest permutation is if Collins wins here, he's through.
96.
But right now, it's in the hands of the Dutchman. One big score here.
$94.
Leaves a finish.
The fish to finish with a flourish and some fanfare and a bit of panache and style.
96. Denny
Friday
required
There's always
170.
fish day in the Durham household. Might be a big fish for Denny Olde Kalter.
98.
Well, this would
Robbie
be
required
the ultimate Hail
156.
Mary. But the 156 isn't going to go, and so Olde Kalter comes back looking for 72 to complete the job by 4 legs to 1.
81. Denny
It would mean-
requires 72.
Then he would be the top placed player in Group B. And it's going to be double 18 to complete the job. But the
54.
match starts come and gone.
Yeah, he didn't
Robbie
look
requires
that composed
75.
throughout that. Treble 17 should be the shot. It is the shot. He likes this double 12. Been a little bit erratic on double 6.
63.
There
Denny
is the
required
frustration.
18.
And for Denny Olde Kalter, who's already through. 144 is the desired target.
10.
Happy
Robbie
birthday,
required
Rob
12.
Collins.
Double 6. Every moment is absolutely pivotal. Double 3. Doesn't
6.
go. And the look on his face says everything. That could well be the last dart Rob Collins throws this week.
Denny require 8.
Yeah, for the first time, tension-riddled Rob Collins is how them 3 darts are thrown. Has he thrown it away? For Denny Olde Kalter, he's already going to be there on Saturday
shot,
night
and the match.
cements that
Denny
with a
Olde
victory over a
Kalter.
very, very disappointed Rob Collins. We are going down to the final game of Group B, the final game of the week. Wow, what a game it's going to be. It's Scott Taylor against Matt Dennant, and so much to play for many. Game on.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we have one of our finalists, Dennant, Olde, Kalter. Congratulations, you've made it through.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just give us a summary of your week here at the Super Series.
It was a roller coaster. It was going all over the place. Yeah, a little bit luck on the way, a little bit bad luck on the way. But in the end, lucky me.
You were playing some really good stuff in Group A, particularly on Monday and Tuesday. You were involved in that really special day on Tuesday when Daryl Pilgrim, of course, did incredible things. What was it like then to sort of have to reset and restart in Group B?
Yeah, it was really difficult because I knew after the defeat on Daryl and on the last day, I wasn't going to be first, so I had to play another 2 days. Yeah, I'm really happy to come through in this very difficult group.
Because of all sorts of sort of maths, you were already through before you played that last game. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I thought if I keep the game close, then I think I had the best leg shot also. But I didn't know when I was going through. But I didn't care also, so.
And nice to have a Dutchman through, because Arjen Konterman was desperately unlucky this afternoon, wasn't he?
Yeah, very unlucky. He's such a great guy, a very good player. I think he was one of the most stable players in the whole group for both days, actually. And yeah, it's really bad luck for him.
You've seen the majority of players going through. We're going to find out the final one after this final match. But how are you feeling about being here in front of an audience on Saturday night?
Yeah, absolutely great, especially in this very difficult group, both days, the whole week actually. Yeah, it's a phenomenal feeling.
Well, it should be fun. We'll see you on Saturday. Well done. Dennant, Olde, Kalter has qualified for finals now, and we're going to find out who is going to join him now at this final match. Well, there are all sorts of permutations at play, so I'm going to hand you over to a couple of experts in commentary. Henry Deacon and Glenn Durrant will talk you through every twist and turn.
Yeah, just before Henry does, thank you, Chris. I just want to say another fantastic interview. I really do like to hear from the players, and didn't he speak so well? And just, I think his English was better than mine as Henry nods his head. But yeah, just a very, very refreshing interview, and he's been a wonderful addition. But so much to play for. 3 players still involved. Henry Deacon, please explain.
Right. I hope you've got a pen and paper handy, because this is what you need to know.
Game on.
The simplest equation is if Scott Taylor wins, because he goes through, Matt Dennant goes out, Rob Collins is here tomorrow night. Matt Dennant victories makes the
60.
waters a little bit murkier, because a 4-0 or 4-1 victory for Matt Dennant would send Scott Taylor crashing out, and Rob Collins would go through. If Dennant wins 4-2 or 4-3, well, everybody's a winner in this particular match, and it's Rob Collins, the man who will be heading back up the A27 disconsolate.
139.
So 2 legs for Taylor, I guess, is his priority right now. But we'll keep you updated throughout this match.
140.
The closest group of the week, and we've had some unbelievable conclusions this week. Let me just say,
126.
Series 5 week to week is going to enjoy it. I guess the only player who sat feeling great is Daryl Pilgrim.
Indeed, a week that'll go down in history, that's for sure.
72.
But is it also going to be this added expectation on Daryl? And because he's had 2 days sat at home,
121.
all people be talking about is the 122, the 118, the 9 darter, the big fish, this, that, the other. Can that then stew on
77.
the mind?
Scott, you require 55.
Can I answer that second, Lex? I think it's a very important point. But Taylor, 2 darter tops.
Game shot on the first lay. Scott Taylor.
His doubles have been awful tonight, if you're wondering what that's all about.
I'm
Second leg, it's Matt to throw first.
I'm wondering whether he's bit the bullet a bit too early. I'm wondering whether that's like a celebratory.
Do you think?
60.
I think it's because his doubles have been so bad tonight. I'm thinking that was more what he was sarcastically lifting his arms about.
100.
But in answer to your question there, the only parallel I can give, the only sort of analysis I can give to you there, if Daryl's been reading every message he's received,
96.
as we look at a potential 6 out of 6.
180.
We've seen 9 darter this week. Are we about to see something very, very special?
Scott Taylor is on the receiving end of it against Darryl Pilgrim. Is he going to do it himself? He misses dart number 8 at treble 19.
We were both on our feet here in the comms box. We just both felt something special was really happening there.
139. Scott, you require 51.
His tops is 2-0.
Scott Taylor.
Averaging 115.62. And Scott Taylor is into tomorrow night's final.
Yeah, and I think it's clear there the sarcasm with the arms lifted in the air is because he's finally found double top. He's done his job now. Now, quite simply, can Matt Dennant win this game?
125.
A 4-3 win, a 4-2 win for Matt Dennant would be enough to see him through.
61.
I wonder if Rob Collins is still in the building.
43.
What were we talking about, by the way?
125.
If he's been reading all his messages, the only thing I can sort of think of is that you get so embroiled in all
140.
I'd like to think he's just put that to one side till after Saturday night. He can read all the plaudits and all the messages he got about that incredible 9 darter and the high averages.
60.
And just really focused on the job. I reckon he's kept his arm just loose without over practicing. This is what Scott Taylor can do. This is why I think Scott Taylor can be so dangerous tomorrow. Just a ridiculous average at the moment.
Matt Dennant's playing his best game of the week and he's getting nowhere near a looking.
53.
Scott Taylor is going to give Rob Collins the ultimate helping hand, it feels here. Tops a 3-0 in double quick time.
Treble quick time. This has been absolute 4 minutes 23.
Matt to throw first. Game on.
4 minutes for 3 legs.
Well, the record time is 5:48. Graham Usher.
85.
Now, if Scott Taylor can get this done here in 4 visits, we may well touch that particular benchmark.
100.
But he's going to have to do something miraculous from here.
I wonder if Rob Collins is going to give Scott Taylor a big hug.
134.
There was a lot of testosterone when they played each other. He could be doing the big man a big favour.
43.
We can now discount any hopes of a record time done in a match, but as far as Rob Collins is concerned, he won't care about records. He won't care about the histrionics surrounding the game. All he will care about is the result, and that the result tunes into his favour, in the favour of Scott Taylor, because that is what sends him through now, with Scott getting the accrued number of legs. Dennant isn't going to find the 157, and so he is going to come back with 72. Taylor back on 262, but this is only for 1 back. Needs the lot. And Taylor's found his scoring boots again.
180.
Just when he thought he had a moment's peace. The bull.
60.
And is that going to be the only dart he gets?
82.
And a double in this match. So Dennant's going to get a couple of double 8 to pull 1 back and to bring it to within the realms of 3-1. It's going to be double 8.
Game shot on the 4th lay. Matt Dennant.
And it is back to 3-1. And so Dennant is on the board. Taylor has the darts to complete the job and to send Rob Collins through alongside him and to send Matt Dennant back to the Midlands empty-handed. And he knows his back's against the wall, the scholar. But one thing he has in abundance is a real true grit, fighting spirit, and never say die attitude.
96.
Look at him go. He is a magnificent beast when he goes like this. 4th 180, 108 average. And we know he can pull this type
95.
of stuff out tomorrow night as well. He's won a final with an average of 109.31 against Andy Bolton. That was in week 4 of Series 3.
80.
And now he's got an opportunity to win the match, to eliminate Matt Dennant and to send Rob Collins
60.
through.
Scott, you require 144.
The man of steel is relying on Super Scott to do the job.
128.
Great setup. Double 8 after 12. Which is perhaps ironic because that southwest side of the board isn't usually a friend to Scott Taylor.
Scott, you require 16.
Double 8. And now 4s. Oh, wow, he says. Such was the size of the miss. But such was the size of the hit B for
14.
Rob Collins. But
Matt, you require 150.
the missed doubles have begun to come into play for Scott Taylor. It was the story of the early portion of his night.
44.
And so
Scott, you require 2.
the Madhouse
No score.
to complete the job.
Matt, you require 106.
The late night darting drama continues. Don't go to bed just yet. Because Dennant wants tops.
86.
But the chance
Scott, you
has come and
require
gone.
2.
Taylor, 1 up, 1 in
shots,
to send Rob Collins in to tomorrow night's final and to dump Dennant out the tournament. Scott Taylor's through. He's a 4-1 victor, doing so in the end with an average of 97.3, but it was touching the teens for a large portion of that. 4 out of 11 on the doubles. It is Scott Taylor who sends Rob Collins through. Matt Dennant departs the scene. Scott Taylor 4, Matt Dennant 1 is the result from our final game of the evening.
Thank you very much, Henry. Yeah, it's twice in a row that, isn't it? Scott Taylor has produced his performance of the night in the last match of the night.
If he gets to the final tomorrow night, you know what that means. But yeah, he was really good. He, once again, just shows his class when he needed to.
Yeah, loads of twists and turns tonight. We'll show you the results from the 10 matches this evening. Taylor started with a win, ended with a win, but he left it a little precarious for himself in the middle.
Yeah, very similar to sort of Dom Taylor early on in the day there. I think, you know, the top 2, Denny looked really, really good. Loved his interview, by the way. And Rob Collins, I don't know if he knows he's through, because as I walked through there, he wasn't in the players area. Maybe he was on some track in Wolverhampton.
Well, should we get confirmation? Should we look at the league table and all the players, if they are still there? We'll get the chance to see the top 3, and it is indeed Denny Olde, Kalter, Scott Taylor and Rob Collins, who didn't have to rely on any kind of leg difference shenanigans in the end, who threw on points. Look, we won't talk about Dave Prins. We'll move swiftly on from that and talk about the players that are through. I'm sure you're happy to hear that, Glenn. But we'll start with Denny Olde, Kalter, who was the first to get through, actually. He's ridden a bit of a midweek slump and come good at the end.
And just what I think we needed for Saturday night as well. He's going to create a real good balance. He's got a lovely pace, cracking personality. Once again, just a lovely interview. And his darts, when he really gets that arm moving, like I said, when he's got a little bit of tension in that arm, he's definitely not the same player. But absolute credit once again to ADC Europe. I keep producing some fantastic players.
Yeah, some real clutch finishing from Olde, Kalter at times. Thought this double 8 in particular was important. Last start in hand to beat Dave Prins. And yeah, Dave Prins, the Badger, had beaten a man tonight in all of his matches. But you just mentioned it, Rob Collins, a man who is through, and we will see him in front of a crowd with that animation and aggression that we come to know and love from him.
And I love that. Like I said, I touched on it early, and he's one of them players who needs an awful lot going through, and I think that's a new gift for me, that's for sure. But
I was going to say the many faces, Glenn, of Rob Collins, but they're all pretty similar, actually, aren't they?
Yeah, he was punching his head, slapping away, but like I said, he wasn't in the players. I was going to go and congratulate him as I went by there, but he could be somewhere.
Yeah, Scott Taylor, the other player through, of course, with that brilliant victory in his final match. Instead of seeing Scott Taylor's highlights, we're going to hear from him, and he's downstairs waiting to is not quite there yet, Scott Taylor. So you can talk about him instead, Glenn. How about that?
Yeah, fabulous player. You asked me a question at 9:30 a.m. on Monday, who's going to win the week? And I said Scott Taylor. So I'm delighted he's through. And I think he's got one of them games as well where he can be really destructive in a finals night. And sometimes that's what you need. The round-robin phase is over now. And I just think we see different types of dart players on a Saturday night. He's been before and won a Saturday night as well. So as many players, it's going to be so exciting tomorrow. I can't wait.
Are you sticking with that tip, Scott Taylor, even though he's had that bit of a bump in the middle of the night?
That final game, once again. I mean, like I said, Scott Taylor's someone I would love to sort of sit down with because but he showed me an awful lot about his demeanour, his attributes. I've called him lethargic and a little bit lazy at times, previous times when he's been here. But he was trying to correct those wrongs, and I see a really, really good version coming out there, and I can see him lifting that trophy tomorrow night.
I think we can have a look at the Groups 4 finals night tomorrow. We will have a look at those very, very shortly indeed. Scott Taylor joining another Taylor, Dom Taylor. Actually hearing that we are going to hear from Scott Taylor. I think he just went for a celebration. But yeah, we are going to hear from him in just a moment, and we'll get those groups confirmed for finals night as well. But it's interesting. You're tipping Scott Taylor. In fact, hold that thought. We are going to hear from him now, talking to Henry.
Are we ready for it, Henry, or not?
Yeah.
We're now, exactly now, because I'm going to tell him to put it through.
Scott, many congratulations. Through to tomorrow night, but wow, it was a dramatic evening.
It was rubbish tonight. I'll definitely be preparing differently tomorrow, so I've just got to take it as it is. I've got through, and that was the main game at the start, just to get through to Saturday, and that's all that matters.
As you say, it was a bit of an indifferent evening, wasn't it, from night one? What was the biggest difference from night one to night two for you?
I think it was just my double top really cost me, so I need to work on that a little bit for tomorrow. I need to play a lot better.
Going into tomorrow night's final, look, you've been here before, you know what it's like to win here before. Does that breed you confidence? And of course, you've been to another final since.
Oh yeah, definitely. I won't play as bad as that tomorrow. I hope not anyway. If I do, then I'm in big trouble. So hopefully I won't play as bad as I did tonight.
Well, Scott, well done tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers, thanks.
Sorry.
You're all right, mate. You know, always see you later.
Taylor, now, I'm going to talk about another player who wasn't in this group. We can't end the group stages this week without just having a word about Daryl Pilgrim. Yeah. Surely he's going to be the favourite. Not just the favourite with the bookies, but with what he's done this week, the crowd favourite.
He was the favourite on Monday morning, and when you have that favourite tag, sometimes it's difficult to justify. But, you know, I mean, what he gave me a real pleasure this week. I mean, it was absolutely sensational to watch, to commentate a 9-darter, to have that losing average of 118, the winning average of 122. He's had an incredible week. But what I've learned about the MODUS Super Series, it starts tomorrow night again. Like I say, it feels different. The crowd's in here. Feels like more of a knockout. And Daryl Pilgrim's sometimes flattered to deceive on a Saturday night. That gives opportunities to there's some big players there tomorrow, including the Scott Taylors, the Dom Taylors. Justin Smith said he's going to win it.
Yeah.
Who's going to doubt that? Fascinating night to come.
Well, it's been brewing up into a really special week, hasn't it? We saw that terrific Tuesday. Could we have something special on Saturday?
I think it's been the best week I've been involved in MODUS Super Series. I've really, really enjoyed it, and the competition's getting better, the competition's getting bigger, the better players are coming over from Europe. We've seen the success of the Oceanic coming over. We've had success from North America as well. It's been brilliant, but this week it's just been extra special.
Right, let's have a proper look at Saturday night then, shall we, here at the Super Series. They are the players that are going through. Your Group A winner, Daryl Pilgrim. Group B winner, Dennant Kalter, going through with Scott Taylor and Rob Collins, and Dom Taylor going through with Justin Smith. Decent night.
It's a fantastic night. I mean, you've got a case for every single one of them. I mean, Rob Collins come to the party tonight. I mean, you know, Scott Taylor, we've seen how destructive he can be. Dom Taylor, I think, is just awaiting a big triumph. Justin Smith told us he's going to win, but Daryl Pilgrim is the man to beat.
Right, I was just going to try and keep you talking as long as I possibly could, Glenn, but you know what? I'll let you get some rest, I'll let you do all your prep and research for tomorrow, and you'll badger me about the badger, I'm sure.
I will be standing there tomorrow, don't you worry. My mind's working, I know already, but yeah, a fantastic week. Don't miss tomorrow night.
Absolutely. No wins for Prince, but the field is set for finals night. We're on air at 7:30 on the MODUS Super Series YouTube channel, 10 p.m. for the semi-finals and finals on Sporty Stuff TV. Don't miss it.